It is Genji. Are you there? Please answer, Ava-sama.
We're having sex, leave us alone!
Oh, well, shit, okay, sorry.
But there was a loud creaking noise coming from the other side. Alright, stop writing, please stop writing various, lyrics in the chat, or in the Discord chat. Let's get to it.
Alright.
I can believe the cat.
And now, the show.
Oh yeah! Aniki,
With our lives on the line.
I can't believe you're single. Yeah, like you already raised kids through middle school.
Oh shit! I forgot that we cut last time on the most insensitive line this side of Umineko.
It's not like your wife to be just died or anything.
Oh fuck! I actually forgot that we ended up.
I had a fiance, you redheaded fuck.
So I wonder if Aunt Rose also knew much about Maria's dual personality.
She knew about it. Just between us, Aunt Rosa really hated it. She said it was unpleasant and that Maria was becoming increasingly isolated from the rest of the class. So anytime Maria started talking about the occult or laughing like a witch, she'd slap her. And it looks like Maria stopped talking that way in front of her.
Maybe that thing back there. It's a little game from a girl facing her growing period. It's a girl trying to show that she was different and independent by holding interest in witches and the occult. So she wanted to be different from herself. Young as she was switching between her normal personality and the personality of her ideal, a witch. At first I found that very disturbing. After being lectured by George Aniki, it felt like this is a path everyone walked down at one time or another. I haven't told anyone, but when I was in kindergarten, I joined up with a little gang of kids trying to form an Earth Defense Force, saying we'd help protect peace on Earth.
Oh!
My face turned red when I remember how, during what we called battle practice, he would chant EDF, EDF.
I love that game.
I have to wonder if that was like added by the translators or not.
No, that's very intentional.
That is in the novel.
In the game.
EDF! EDF!
Yukishi made reference to the Xbox 360 in Higurashi. This is not, like, out of range.
Oh my god!
Just like usual, Maria was relaxing, immersed in the TV, oohing and laughing like any girl her age. But on the inside, another personality, that of the ideal witch she respected and blindly accepted, was sleeping. That wasn't anything extraordinary. It was perfectly natural for a girl of her age.
I'm taking notes as I'm going. EDF.
The EDF will be very important to the future of the plot.
I've calmed down a little. The shock from my bizarre experience in the kitchen just now is fading away. If I hadn't talked to Aniki and Jessica, I might still be frightened by the idea that an invisible witch is standing right behind me. However, can I really accept an explanation for what happened back there? If it had just been Maria, I could have explained it as the fickle delusions of a growing girl. Genji-san, Kanon-kun, and Kumasawa Ba-chan had also been there. None of them would deny what Maria said. It's unaccepted that Beatrice exists. I tend to feel a little uneasy. Aneva's position was that number 9, that 19th person existed. Yeah. Hey, I think that guy is like actually high. You wanna like, if he keeps just spamming that in the chat, maybe maybe mute him for a little bit. Okay.
No, they're good.
Okay.
I'm just saying if he doesn't calm down. Okay. Aneva's position was that no 19th person existed. The crime was an inside job tied to the family quarrels. On the other hand, Aunt Nazi's position was that the culprit was hiding somewhere outside the mansion. So she rejected the possibility of an inside job and supported the idea that a 19th person existed. And in the kitchen, Maria and the servants had to support the idea of a 19th person. According to them, this 19th person is inhuman. Said it was an invisible witch, carrying out some mysterious plan. Is there a 19th person? Or not? Is the culprit human? Or witch? For some reason I couldn't just laugh off any of those possibilities. Not even the most ridiculous story about a witch. Jessica. All I know about the story of the witch is that it was a story made by the adults to keep the kids too scared into the forest, but... is it different here in the mansion?
Ow! Sorry, I've also been barking today.
Oh.
I'm fine.
Alright.
I feel the same way you do, okay? I think it was just a stupid ghost story that parents made up so their kids would listen to them. But I can't deny that the atmosphere inside the mansion makes it a little hard to say it out loud.
After all, Grandfather has proclaimed that Beatrice exists. And because of their position, the servants can't doubt that. Even Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsui don't want to get in a fight with him. So on the surface, they all go along with it. So it's probably fair to say that doubting the existence of Beatrice is taboo to those who live and work in the mansion. Unlike the rest of us who only come here once a year. Is that right?
Jessica took a deep breath in admiration. Maganaki had guessed right.
It's just like you say. No one really believes it on the inside. But on the outside, they accept that she exists. See, it's just like that way some people are about God. Don't want to get monotheistic about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. Even if they know God doesn't exist, they feel like it'd be uncouth if they actually said it out loud.
I think the servants feel about it. Either just going along with it because Grandfather, their employer, says that she exists.
Well, I don't really know the details. But between the servants, the story about Beatrice has been treated like a sort of ghost story. Remember yesterday when Shannon was talking to us down by the beach? That story about how one night when she was doing the rounds in the mansion, she saw something unsettling.
She did say something like that, didn't she? Back then. I was just being really nice to help improve Maria's mood. But I felt like she was serious when she said it. That's right. She definitely said it. Definitely said the same kind of thing that Genji and the rest had all unanimously declared back in the kitchen.
In addition, some servants have also seen the will-o-wisps and glittering butterflies dancing around. Hanan-kun also saw something like that when he went patrolling one night. And recently, you often hear servants talking about strange footsteps heard inside the mansion near midnight. We whispered together that the Beatrice-sama in the portrait sometimes makes herself invisible and walks through the mansion. It happened a while ago, but even I've heard footsteps while patrolling at night that resemble these stories.
That's right. She definitely said that. Exactly the same thing that I had been told just now.
But there's nothing to be afraid of. Beatrice-sama is another ruler of this mansion, separate from the master. So there's no need to be unnaturally afraid. If you respect her, I hear she won't do anything bad.
However, she can be quite terrifying if you don't respect her, right?
Correct. I've heard that just before I began working here. Someone who spoke badly about Beatrice-sama fell down the stairs and quit after receiving a large injury to their back. Because of that, there was a rumor between the servants that Beatrice-sama's anger had been brought down upon this person.
You If you don't respect her, you'll suffer her wrath and get hurt. So to the servants, Beatrice's existence is as credible as the story that pull a prank on an Ari-san, you'll be cursed by the Kitsune. Of course, even though everyone accepts that curses and the like don't exist in the modern era, people are still afraid and still have a little respect for them. You often see it when, in a residential area, someone is building a house and they'll call a Shinto priest for a ceremony to honor the god of that plot of land. I think it was just a big waste of time and money. But it is said that if the workers don't do that, a big accident will occur. They never neglect to do it. You also hear about how, if an Inari shrine is carelessly removed during a town replanning, there'd be a curse by Kitsune-sama. I think I might have read somewhere that when the occupying forces were trying to expand an airport, they tried to move an Inari-san that was in the way. The workers kept getting struck down by mysterious fevers. Even in modern cities like Tokyo, it wasn't rare to see a modern building packed all around an old Inari shrine, leaving the shrine itself untouched. This wasn't limited to Japan. It was similar to how foreigners baptized babies. If I remember right, by Christian doctrine, if unbaptized souls have even the slightest amount of sin, they'll still go to hell. Putting water on a child's forehead doesn't do anything but make them cry. But if by doing just that, parents can prevent their children from going to hell, they'll happily go through that ceremony. In short, even in this modern society of reason, we're still able to throw away every trace of belief and fear. You can say that we accept certain sorts of supernatural things, though in a positive way. Maybe the only difference on this island is that Beatrice is the object of that worship. So, in other words, if anything happens that doesn't seem explainable in human terms, it's called the work of Beatrice. I think Shan said it herself. Windows and doors and locks that were tightly shut would be open the next time you went to check them. Lights that should have been on went out. Lights that should have been out were turned on. But I remember even Jessica was joking about it, saying it was also the work of Beatrice when she couldn't find her bag in the morning.
Your memory is pretty good. Normally you'd say some little imps took them, but on this island it's Beatrice. Well, it's all pretty stupid, though.
The mansion's been standing for about 30 years by now, hasn't it? It's natural for things that old to get their fair share of ghosts and occult stories. Like the 7 mysteries at school.
That's where I'll spin the chessboard around.
Yeah, you said it! Huh?
Simply put, on this island there's a rule that Beatrice gets blamed for anything that couldn't have been done by humans. Things that humans can't do. How many humans are here? 18. In other words, the culprit is using the rules of this island to make it look like a witch committed this crime. Because they desperately want us to think a 19th person did it. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
What do you mean you don't like it?
Let's assume some invisible 19th person exists and wants people to know they exist. If it were me, I'd do it with even more perfect timing.
What do you mean by perfect timing?
Well, the crime took place sometime between the middle of the night and dawn, right? We had some people who were talking together until the middle of the night, some people on night shifts, and some people who had returned to their rooms and were sleeping. Everyone's alibi is really vague, so there's plenty of room to suspect that the crime was an inside job. George Anarchy, Aniva probably told you too, right? There was a good chance this crime was an inside job.
Yes. I guess.
In other words, if the invisible 19th person really exists and wants to let us know it, the first crime is a complete failure. No. In the first place, they chose the wrong time of day to do it. This invisible 19th person really wanted to show themselves. They had to make sure that the crime took place under conditions which would provide that the remaining 12 people were all innocent. As long as there's a single human we can suspect, this 19th person attempts to highlight their presence fails. That's why near midnight, when everyone's alibis are the vaguest, the 19th person's existence is also the vaguest. And yet, the culprit chose to commit the crime at that time.
But committing the crime then, one of the 18 would obviously be suspected. And yet, someone handed Maria the letter and called themselves a witch, even though everyone denies they did it.
In other words, you're trying to say that one of the 18, is trying to make it look like a 19th person called Beatrice exists? That's a pretty crazy idea. I think Mom's theory about someone hiding outside the mansion is a bit more credible. Battler, don't tell me you actually think someone in this room is the culprit.
I do. Someone's trying to force us to accept that Beatrice exists. That's right. This whole thing started as far back as the letter last night. I don't have any bias or proof. With the chessboard turned around, this is my best guess.
Seriously, that's too crazy. You sure you haven't been reading too many weird detective novels outside of this one?
However, it's an angle we can't ignore. Whether there's a 19th person or not, the culprit's definitely planning something involving that rule about this island. Just now, listening to Battler talk, I remembered something that's a little disturbing.
Something disturbing?
Yes. Do you remember? Beatrice's letter. It said that Beatrice was going to collect interest. And by interest, it mentioned everything of the Ushiramiya family.
Jessica and I thought back on what Maria had read aloud the previous night.
Yeah, it said that. It definitely said that. That the collection of the interest was gonna take place shortly, but if the riddle of the gold could be solved, she'd lose that right.
Grandfather received the gold and rebuilt the Ushiramiya family. In other words, according to Beatrice, everything created using the gold as capital counts as a part of the interest. Which means...
That's pretty scary for a joke, Aniki. You don't mean everything of the Ushiramiya's family. In other words, everything that grandfather gave birth to. In other words, everyone with grandfather's blood flowing through their veins?
If you interpret the letter that way, these murders are just Beatrice legitimately collecting interest. If that's the case, these crimes will continue. Because the collection of interest is still only halfway completed.
George turned around, looking over the parlor. There were still many people who held the name of Shiramiya. And because Goto-san and Shan-chan had been killed, we knew that not even the servants were safe, despite lacking the Shiramiya name.
So, are they planning to kill us all? But that's weird, George Nissan. In that case, why only 6 people? They should have been able to kill a lot more. At worst, it should have been possible for them to assault everyone while they were sleeping and kill them in a single night. Why didn't they do that?
The special clause. If someone manages to solve the riddle of the gold, their right to the interest will be lost. And remember how the letter ended. It challenged us all to solve the riddle of grandfather's gold.
Jesus. We're finally starting to understand the culprit's message. In other words, the culprit's telling us to try and solve the riddle on the epitaph grandfather had made. On top of that, they're saying that if we just sit around, they'll keep collecting interest. I realize this is all based on several guesses that are way out there. But not everything that happens in this world fits together in a perfect line. Most of the events we don't understand are only individual points. By fitting them into a straight line, we're beginning to understand. The points are at either end of the line are really close. The line itself is more logical and easier to understand. When those points are really far away, the opposite is true. It's the distance between these points that make us say our guesses are way out there. However, if the distances we span are too narrow, it means our thinking will be narrow too. There's a difference between making guesses and reasoning. Not using easily made guesses to try and force this crime into a pattern only I can understand. No, that's not it. You're lost in the dark and searching around with your hands. What you're doing is relying on your imagination and making guesses. Only imagination can find the points that need to be tied together. Reasoning is nothing more than the act of drawing the lines between them. Can't imagine, can't reason. What I'm doing right now might be way out there. I'm sure it isn't a mistake either. Only the power of imagination can pull clues out from the darkness. Then I can use the power of reasoning to tie these clues back together. I like the process of searching out an enemy's weak spot and striking. It's okay if I'm way out there. Find a weak point first, then we can think about how to strike. Right now is the time to find points we can tie together later. For the time being, I put aside whether our 19th person existed. And it's our theory that the goal of the culprit might have been to make us solve the riddle of the epitaph. Uncle Hideyoshi seemed to be extremely interested, but Aunt Natsuhi said it was ridiculous and dismissed it.
Of course! If you think about it that way, even the letter from yesterday makes sense. The motive seems to fit pretty well with the facts. Setting aside who it was that gave Maria-chan the letter.
Beatrice exists!
Even though she was puffing up her cheeks in that cute way she had been doing since yesterday, I couldn't think of it as cute. If I'd poke fun of her, it might suddenly transform into a creepy laugh.
There is no hidden gold. However, if the culprit is blindly sure of its existence, and if they're trying to make us solve the riddle before snatching the gold away from themselves, then I will agree it makes sense. However, if that were the case, why would they start by killing those most highly ranked in the Yoshiromiya family?
I see your point. If they wanted to make us solve the riddle, killing those closest to Kenzo-san doesn't sound like a good plan to me.
That's true enough. And if we're going with that argument, wouldn't it have been quicker to threaten Father in the first place? You'd think it'd be faster to just ask the person who wrote it rather than try to force us to solve it.
You've got a point there. Still, I think it'd take more time than your average threat to make Father spill the beans. Anyone who knows Kenzo-san well would probably realize that he won't bow to ordinary threats.
He's the man who bears responsibility for the Yoshiromiya family and all its vast wealth. He's been exposed to many threats and attacks in the past. The family only prospers today because he was able to overcome all of them.
That's freaking right! I can't even imagine our grandfather obeying someone because of a threat.
Jessica, watch your language.
Yes, Mom.
In that case, what about this idea? Oh, wait. Is this one also way out there?
Try us, we're gullible.
I couldn't hesitate. Out there ideas are like bows and arrows. Might be hard to hit with, but it's a great weapon, because it can hit enemies far away. They say more people who've died in battles were killed by arrow wounds. In a battle, you can't just shoot off one arrow. You should have a whole bunch of arrows at once, pushing forward towards the enemy troops with a wall of them. So keep shooting. Over and over. Create a wall as you push forward towards the truth. If the culprit is after the hidden gold, whoever's going to solve the riddle wouldn't be very efficient for him. Much quicker and easier to ask the person who made it in the first place. In that case, the question is all a message directed at Grandfather? In other words, these murders were a threat made against Grandfather. If he didn't tell the culprit where the gold was, his family member would be killed off one by one. What if we were the only ones being forced to solve this riddle? What if Grandfather was too? If you think about it that way, it explains Grandfather's mysterious disappearance. If the culprit has already attacked Grandfather, then judging by the state of the sick corpses we were left in, he should have been left on display somewhere with that horrible makeup added. Despite that, still haven't found him. I mean, that Grandfather has been kidnapped and is being held somewhere?
How could? You aren't saying. How could? That sounds interesting. So Grandfather's being confined somewhere, and the culprit's saying we'll be killed off one by one if he doesn't tell them where the gold is? It pains me to imagine how you find that interesting.
On Natsu, he glared at her, but on Ava just smiled calmly.
Since we still haven't seen him after all this time, I think it's almost certain that Grandfather's gotten caught up in the crime. If you think about it, you can't just ignore Battler Kun's theory, right?
Sorry, had to take a drink.
Be quiet, George. In the first place, when did Father actually disappear?
Who was the last person to see Father?
It was probably me. This morning, when we didn't know where my husband and the rest were, we discussed the possibility of them being in Father's study.
Sorry.
And I went to check his room and greeted him there. Come to think of it, I've been holding the key to his study this whole time, haven't I? Genji, let me return this to you.
Natsu, he pulled out the gold key and handed it to Genji. Looking at the key, Ava giggled.
Hey, Genji-san. I'm sure the police will inspect Father's room thoroughly. If there's anything hidden there, it'll just be exposed anyway. So maybe it'd be better if you just told us about it right here, right now.
What are you talking about?
Oh, come on, you dirty boy. Tell us about Father's hidden secrets. It's simple. Father's study is a closed room with no way in or out except for that key, right? I want to verify whether that's true. There's only one entrance to Father's study. What about the window? Any other entrances or exits?
There are none.
Much fun.
There is no way to get in except for the entrance.
You're not sure about that?
Okay.
There isn't some secret hidden door or anything? Since Father isn't here, I am the highest ranked member of the Yoshiromiya family. I am asking you as a representative of the Yoshiromiya family head. Remember that when you answer me. Are there any ways in or out of that room other than the main entrance? As Father's closest aide, I'm sure you would know.
Natsuhi looked a little offended at the part about the highest-ranked family member. She kept her mouth closed for the time being and waited for Genji's answer. I couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable. Why was she going on and on about hidden doors?
You too, Kanon-kun, Kumasawa-san. If you know, won't you tell me? If there is one, it would be better if you said so. Otherwise, a certain person might be driven into a corner in a second. If we assume that there is a hidden door, then my argument comes to nothing.
All David didn't specify which person was about to be driven into a corner. Following the flow of the conversation, and a feeling that she was referring to Natsuhi.
Mother, what are you talking about?
George, stay quiet for a bit. What do you say? Genji-san? Kanon-kun? Or Kumasawa-san? Is there a hidden door? Or not? Genji-san, when you remodeled Father's study, you must have overseen the construction. I won't let you say you don't know.
There is nothing like that in the master's study.
You're sure? What about Kanon-kun, one who's allowed to wear the one-winged eagle?
That's right. I'm sure. There is no such hidden door in the master's study.
Kumasawa-san?
No, I haven't heard of such a thing. God, I'm out of practice with that voice.
I still like it.
You sounded better, actually.
What about Dr. Nunjo? You've had a close relationship with Father. Almost too close for my liking.
I've never heard of something like that.
Very well, then. So, are you ready? Let me begin. It's very simple. Don't let me bore you to tears.
Everyone tilted
Picture
their
it.
head doubtfully, wondering what Aunt Ava was starting to talk about so proudly. Aunt Ava laughed triumphantly, as though she were about to reveal a secret only she knew.
Make your argument.
Natsuhine-san was the last person to spot Father, right? I forget the exact time, but I think it was a little before 9 in the morning. Nei-san, do you remember? I ran into you just as you were coming out of Father's study, right? Yes, I remember. What does that have to do with anything? And when was the next time you went to visit Father's study? That was after we found the bodies of Nissan and the rest, right? Together with me, you went up to the study to report that, and we discovered that he wasn't there. By the way, Nisa, sweetie, at that time, when you entered Father's study, did you notice anything? Anything at all? Notice anything? What are you talking about? Oh, come on. You picked up some trash, right? A folded receipt. I do seem to remember picking up some trash. How is that relevant? I got that receipt when I bought some candy at a store before arriving at the airport.
Aunt Ava pulled a small bag of candy out of her handbag.
Ah, the receipt from that candy you bought back there. But Mother, does that receipt really have anything to do with it? I'm gonna read that. There you go.
You got it.
George, stay quiet and listen for a bit longer.
Uncle Hideyoshi's expression was a little strict. Apparently understood what Aunt Ava was getting at.
It really was just a whim. I definitely didn't foresee anything. Or try to set up a trap for Natsuhine-san or anything like that. Actually, about that receipt. Nesa, you remember bumping into me right after the last time you saw Father, right? At that time, I wedged this into the door to the study.
So, what does that mean? Are you saying no one opened the door until Nazi picked up the receipt?
Wait a second, Aniva. Wedging the receipt in would be obvious. It's possible that when Grandfather opened the door, he noticed it, found it amusing, and stuck it back in the door.
Jessica hurriedly argued back. She still didn't really know what this all meant. She realized that, whatever it was, would raise suspicion about her own mother.
Sorry, also typing notes. Of course, I folded the receipt up very small so that no one would notice it. But even if you assume that he saw it fall, he would have no way of knowing how high up the door it had been stuck, right? I checked it while Natsuhine-san was taking the key out. The receipt was still stuck, not 1 millimeter away from where I put it. I can't understand why you would pull such a childish prank. I'll bet you were the one who did that prank on the door to my room, too.
The door to your room?
It was unpleasant to talk about, so I never mentioned it. But when I woke up this morning, there were signs of some prank on the outside of my door with what was probably the same red paint that was scribbled across the shutter. There were some unpleasant marks, as though someone had been tearing at the door.
Wait, what's this? Why do you keep quiet about it till now?
My apologies. There's so many horrible things have occurred since then. I had completely forgotten about it until this moment. I don't know anything about that. I'm not talking about your door, but the door to Father's room, right? Between the time you confirmed that he was in his room and the time you confirmed that he wasn't, that door wasn't opened even once. How did Father get out if he didn't use the door? I don't know that. That's what I want to know.
Natsuhine-san, other than you, who else checked to see whether Father was in his room?
Last night, the last time I met Kinzo-san was when we were playing chess. So I was with him just before dinner.
Who saw him after that?
I did. I gave him Mr.
Yes. Jen and I were with him.
So at that time, Father was definitely in his room. However, Natsuhine-san, when you found out he wasn't there, it looks like all ways in or out of the study were closed, right? But even so, you said that you met with him this morning.
I don't understand why everyone's become so gloomy. Could someone please explain it to me?
Father, Mother, are you saying that what Natsui says about meeting Grandfather this morning was a lie?
Like hell she'd lie about that! Mom's guiltless! Why would she lie?
Jessica, I keep telling you to watch your language.
All at once, the whole room is in an uproar. Aunt Ava and Aunt Nazi confronted each other across the parlor table, with George confronting Jessica. What the heck's going on?
That's what I'd like to know!
What the hell is this?
Many people spotted him last night, right? But since this morning, the only one who claims to have seen Father is Natsuhime-san. And then there's that strange fact we learned from my receipt. So how can we connect these points together?
Somebody opened the door, but he didn't open it.
Aunt Ava urged everyone though to imagine it. Sure, that receipt could become an important point. It didn't know which other points to tie to, or how. Try searching for an answer Aunt Ava probably wants. We'll find that Aunt Natsu had lied and acted as though Grandfather was in the room this morning. Had that fact been exposed by a whim of Aunt Ava's?
I don't get it at all! Ugh! Why would Mom have to lie? She has no reason to, right?
That's what I want to know. But Jessica-chan, sweetie, princess, you can't be sure she had no reason to lie and say that Grandfather was in the room. After all, you see it in mystery novels every now and then. That trick where people fake the time of death to create an alibi for themselves.
What are you talking about? Skank? I've never heard of that!
That's your Aunt Jessica.
We still haven't found Father yet, but it's pretty natural to assume he's already been killed, brat. If that's true, there's no doubt we'll find his corpse soon. If at that point the time of death could be cleverly faked, Natsuhime-san would be able to create an alibi. Do you understand? Everyone? Little bitch.
This morning, when Aunt Natsu confirmed that Grandfather was there, she lied. He was already dead at the time. And then she moved the body to some other location, and tampered with it so that, when we find it, we'll think he was killed just a second ago. That'd make it possible for her to create an alibi, even just by staying with the rest of us. Then she could say, I heard someone screaming. Dash over there and became the first to find the body along with everyone else. That what Aunt Ava's saying?
Ridiculous. After all, detective novels are merely books for the purpose of entertainment. You can only think of such an indiscreet idea because you read them all the time.
That's wrong. Even if she did try to fake the time of death a little, all that would be blown away in an instant when the police did their autopsy. That is not the point I should be focusing on. It might have worked in the past, but do you really think that kind of trick would work in modern Japan? It doesn't make sense, bitch!
You think so? Whore? This morning, when Dr. Nanjo looked at the corpses, he was only able to give a vague estimate of the time of death, right? Autopsy results are very easily affected by the environment and individual differences. It's a very relative estimate with an uncertainty of several hours. And unfortunately, the police's scientific investigation will have to wait until tomorrow. It wouldn't be easy to measure the correct time of death so accurately even in modern Japan. Isn't that right, Dr. Nanjo?
Examining a corpse is an extremely difficult task that requires both experience and instinct. I have heard there is a very high chance of a mistaken diagnosis. I imagine it's very possible for a misreading of just a few hours to occur.
However, for an alibi, that's more than enough. It's an old trick. It's a trick that works well enough. Natsuhime-san. It's not like we want to suspect you, okay? We just want you to prove your innocence so we don't have to suspect you.
What is this innocence you want me to prove? This morning, I definitely met with Father. And he told me to keep the one-winged eagle engraved in my heart. Are you denying that he said that too? I will certainly not permit that. I won't let you deny that Father said those words. Come at me. Catch me outside, how about that, bitch?
Oh god.
The evil has come back.
I can't believe they're having a heated gamer moment.
I'm having too much fun. Or maybe Father's body won't appear anywhere. Normally a person has to be missing for 7 years before they're officially dead. Wouldn't that be a clever way to extend Father's nearly finished life another 7 years and keep all of his wealth for yourself? Oh shit!
I guess I can share the CG now.
I can't let you get away with saying that! I can't let you get away with saying anymore! I am Shiromiya Natsuri. Although I do not have the right to wear the one-winged eagle on my body, it is certainly engraved upon my heart. What do you think you're saying to the wife of Kraus, successor to the head, and the one who will act as such in his place? What's this? Are you going to shoot me with that gun? Go ahead. Oh god! If only you just shoot. You're just desperate because you can't think of a way out, right? Do it! Just try to obscure the truth with violence. You.
It wasn't like Natsuya had actually been holding the gun at the ready and threatening anyone. But she was egged on by Eva. He did hold at the ready. Not surprisingly, once things got to this stage, Jessica and George-san tried to stop her.
Genji.
Adam, please calm yourself.
Mom, you aren't lying! So there's no reason for you to listen to this!
Calm down, Natsui-san. All you gotta do is swear that Father definitely was in that room. Why are you getting so worked up?
That is correct. Natsui-san isn't lying. Shouldn't that be the end of it?
Then I want you to explain it. How did Father manage to disappear from the room? The window was closed tight from the inside. The same is true for the door, right? This morning you really met with Father. Then you must explain how Father disappeared from this unopenable door closed room scenario. If you don't, that'd mean you're lying after all. Right. How far do you plan to mock me? If you want to argue back, go ahead, bitch. That's right, try explaining it here, right now, without the gun or the cock. If you do, I'll apologize for suspecting you. How did Father manage to get out from that closed room? I cannot explain, and there's no need for me to do so. Really? Then let me explain it. Oh, God!
God damn it, Zaz.
Oh, God! Oh, bad enough Maria's got me now, Ava? Come
Got
on,
them
they're
crazy eyes. She's got those fangs.
Man, Hideyoshi has a type.
She got that cross hatching.
If you want to, Zaz, go ahead, share the image you've made.
There better not be any more freaky images or anything like that else in this novel, or else I'm gonna mess somebody up.
Oh my god.
Might will.
Ooh.
Yeah, there it is!
I knew it!
That's an edit, by the way, that's not real.
That may be an edit, but... That may be an edit, but damn those titties bouncing off that gun.
Hey, in the anime, there's a scene where Natsui just fucking pulls up the rifle and her tits just bounce everywhere.
Fuck yeah, somebody bring me that gift.
Like that zombie the show, like that zombie anime.
It's just like a
zombie game.
High School of the Dead. It's High School of the Dead, and
High School of the Dead
doesn't work that way, dog.
Dead of the high school.
Again, MILF alert. On stream, both.
I can't stop staring at her tits.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I love how we're in a heated gamer moment and everyone's getting horny.
Okay.
God, I can't stop looking at it.
Let's take the best parts from my perspective and yours, and then come up with a more friendly explanation. One that preferably wouldn't involve you trying to and failing to blow my head off. Skank. I believe what you said about Father still being in this room this morning. However, the next time the door was opened, Father wasn't there. You don't have any objections so far, right? I have no desire to hear anything more you have to say. Shut your frivolous mouth. My reasoning goes like this, okay? I can confirm that on both occasions you were the only one to go through that door. And the receipt proves it. So what's the answer to the puzzle of how Father left the room? The window! He was sent out of the window. Natsuhine-san, you threw Father out of the third-story window of the study in the ground. I'm sorry, but I'm calling BS on that! A woman of Natsu!
For a moment, I thought Natsu was going,
arms threw his
you,
90-something-year-old man out of a fucking window!
Natsu got that
Soldier
fucking,
boy, tell him!
Hell no!
Fucking Natsu be like
dumbest
inputting
shit.
pencil motions.
There is no fucking way that's actually even a theory. That is the dumbest shit I've heard in this so far.
Listen. Ava's hot. That's all.
Is that your only logic and validation? Natsu
Well, I mean, like, I'm not saying she's right, but like, she's hot.
I'm not saying she's right. I'm just saying she's fucking stacked.
50 pounds, let alone a 175-pound man at least. Oh my god! Oh my god. I haven't laughed this much since I saw the 1976 movie House.
I like Monster House, that's a funny one.
Good old house suit.
Alright, I had to do it.
Yeah, he would.
Robu, that would require Hideyoshi to have power. Listen, he's male wife.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Zaz, you changed your fucking icon back to classic sprite. God damn it, Zaz!
Wait, what did he change it to?
Zaz changed his icon back to classic Nazi.
Okay.
Oh my god, okay.
Alright, we should read now.
I need to get a drink of this, because this is going to take some serious...
Man, like, I love how us being like, damn, there's a heated gamer moment happening right now, and then like everyone got horny for the MILFs. To be fair, they are the two best MILFs.
Okay, I'm good. You.
Madam, please endure it.
Iba-sama, please stop it. Excuse me. Iba-sama, please stop this.
After that, when you snapped, it said you were going to check the doors and windows.
Wait. What do you mean there were 4chan threads about naked Umineko characters, but it's in the sprite forms?
Wait, what?
I mean, of course there were. Oh, is how much specialized porn is on 4chan?
Josh, did I just get deleted?
No, it's fine.
I already said the
There's some really specialized stuff on that site.
I mean, yeah.
Very specialized. Stop.
I already said the line here.
Alright. I'm resolving a chat situation.
You took Father's corpse, which had fallen in the courtyard, and hid it. Right. That was probably when you took some measures to fake the time of death, right?
This ties in with the case regarding Krasny's son, and the rest, and also the case regarding Beatrice last night. There's a really good chance we've got reason to suspect Natsui in all those cases. Normally, I wouldn't want to say this. But now that it's out in the open, there's nothing else I can do. Please, Natsui-san. Please explain how you can be innocent. Otherwise, I can't help but suspect you.
Why me? Why must I, Oshiromiya Natsui, be insulted like this?
Looks like we've got everyone's views on record now. It's useless. It's all useless. Aunt Ava.
What do you mean, useless?
Jessica looked up to me, hanging on my every word. Aunt Ava's expression was confident as ever.
Useless, you say? What is? Badler-kun, sweetie. Tell me.
You're only convinced it was on Natsuhi because you're only looking at the case from a single angle. It's not like I'm defending her, but the bluff of a checkmate isn't gonna fly. I think your reasoning regarding the receipt was passable. It's not a bad thread of logic. But I'd only give it a grade of 65 at best. The sort of exam that'd be bad enough to get you extra lessons in detention, right?
Oh, sorry. Do I need to stay after school to get special lessons?
Please, you're my aunt. Stop.
You can't.
There you go. There's your sound clip. You can isolate that.
Yeah, but it's Japanese, so it's fine.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
Alabama, not Japan.
Japan? I don't know. Fuck.
Sweet home Alabama.
Look, I play characters that are fucking. I can play any characters that are fucking Oshiromiya, so you know what? I can fucking go.
I honestly thought that would just be funny as a joke line to say.
I'll clarify that if you want to comment over this with spoilers, and you don't do it in the chat. We have a Discord that if you know what's up, you can go in there and you can talk about stuff that people shouldn't know. All right, cool. Just want to clarify that.
In the designated spoiler channel.
In the designated spoiler channel. If you come in here and you know what's up, we'll give you the funny little roll that says you can go there, and then you can just talk about things that people don't know.
Yes,
and
that would be on point with that.
I was joking!
Joker! Alright. So, yeah.
Joker!
Alright, keep going.
Oh my. Well, how do you think anyone could break through the door sealed by my receipt and make Father disappear? Other than by my theory.
Because I say so. It's true that your theory is an interesting one. And if you could say for sure that there was no way to make Grandfather disappear, then you probably would be able to prove that the last person to see him, Aunt Natsuhi, was guilty. However, since there still is a possibility that she's innocent, these accusations are false. We can't be sure about that.
Then Badler-kun, are you trying to say someone other than Natsuhine-san made Grandfather disappear? It'd be impossible for anyone else to do it. My receipt proved that. Idesha? After the first time she visited that study, and until the second time when we visited it together, the study was a perfect closed room, and the seal was broken on a closed room he was already missing. If that doesn't prove she's the culprit, what kind of trick would they have used?
Like I said, Aunt Ava, only 65 points. So let's try spinning the chessboard around, shall we? The question is how someone managed to make Grandfather disappear from the outside. You should think about how Grandfather disappeared from the inside. The door that had the receipt stuck in it. so it couldn't have been used. He also couldn't have gone through the window, because he can't lock it from the outside. And when Eva visited the study, checked to make sure it was locked. So the window also wasn't used. At that point, the study really was a closed room. We have to accept this. However, the study didn't remain a closed room forever. When the seal created by the receipt was removed, it's possible for someone to escape by the door. In other words, the question isn't how Aunt Natsuhi made Grandfather disappear. You need to think about how he was able to escape. Grandfather's study isn't an ordinary study, right? According to Genji-san, there's a toilet and a kitchen, even a bedroom. Almost like a little house. For example, what if he was hiding under the bed and the two of you only thought he was missing? Aunt Eva, even you didn't check that far, right? And the two of you went back down the stairs, thinking he wasn't there. At that time, the receipt was already gone. In other words, if Grandfather was hiding in the room the whole time it was a closed room, and escaped after letting the two of you go past him, we can crack this whole room right open.
What are you talking about? Why would Father need to escape the room in such a bizarre fashion? Don't be absurd!
Yeah, it might be absurd. However, it still shows there's a possibility that Aunt Natsuhi is being falsely accused. Your receipt wasn't perfect. In chess, you might call that check. But it isn't checkmate! The thing that really pisses me off is that you're pressing Aunt Natsuhi to explain it, and claiming she must be guilty if she doesn't. If you want to go down that road, then why don't you let me?
Yo,
should be a battler! Spin the chessboard around one more time!
Objection.
According to your own argument, you must explain to us why you and Uncle Hideyoshi couldn't have killed those 6 last night, and then casually returned to the guest house. You've been trying to force on Natsuhi to explain, so I'm sure you can prove your own innocence, right? Especially now that all of Grandfather's wealth has been suddenly plopped down right in your hands.
That's right! You're suspicious enough yourself, aren't you? If you say Mom's suspicious because she was the last person to see him, then what about you, Aunt Ava, the last person to see Dad and the rest? Just like Battler said, prove that you two weren't the ones who killed them.
Mother, I also think your reasoning is a little overeager. I'm sure the receipt was an important hint. But, like Battle-kun said, it's not enough to prove that Natsui was responsible for some plot. We're all equally suspicious. It's not right for only Aunt Natsui to be persecuted.
A proud father crawling under his bed? You call nonsense like that an explanation?
Then why don't you explain first? Who killed those 6 and how, and then try showing us proof that you weren't involved? Sorry, that last one actually was a real cough.
I was starting to get worried.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, no, I'm actually fine.
That's enough coughing, you're good. You're gonna make yourself throw up.
I'm good.
Lady.
Jessica suddenly started coughing. At first I thought she was just choking after yelling too loud. Before long I realized how painful it looked. Jessica kept coughing and choking, down on her hands and knees, even though she was standing upright, right there.
Jessica, hang in there. Dr. Nanjo.
Jessica-san, you're inhaling quickly.
Oh, fuck, she has asthma.
No, wait, I have one with me.
Nanjo pulled out a bronchodilator inhaler from his own bag, which was lying on the sofa, and handed it to Jessica. Come to think of it, 6 years ago, didn't Jessica sometimes break into violent coughing fits and have to use that? However, 6 years ago, I never saw Jessica look like she was in that much pain. Aniki, was Jessica's asthma always that bad?
It's gotten a lot worse in these past few years. It's no problem when she's normal. But when an attack comes suddenly, she can't stop coughing anymore.
I'm with Crimson on that one. I've seen my sister go into a fit like that. It's terrifying.
Lady, your medicine. Here.
Taking the inhaler from Cannon-kun just gives you with a practiced hand. Your throat would still itch for a while, but she had it under control. Are you okay, Jessica? Scared me.
It's no big deal. Don't worry about it.
Beads of sweat covered Jessica's whole body, and she couldn't hide her rough breathing. Looked like her sudden attack had calmed down for now. Disturbance amid the dangerous atmosphere up until now seemed slightly unfocused. That's fine. That kind of battle of mutual suspicion is completely unnecessary. When you think about it, finding alibis for each other and looking for the culprit is probably meaningless. After all, we're just powerless, ordinary people. When the police come tomorrow, they'll definitely employ cutting-edge techniques and investigate the case thoroughly, solving all the riddles and arresting the culprit.
One sec. Okay, that coughing also startled up the lungs.
Oh, jeez.
Wait, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good. Almost like fake coughing leads to real coughing.
A cough.
That almost sounds like a
yawning.
God.
Perhaps Badlukun is right after all. Just as Natsuhise-san is suspicious, I can't ignore the fact that I'm suspicious too. It's all there simply is to it. Arguing about that now will surely be unproductive. Everything will be fine if we just leave it to the police tomorrow. But don't you want to know too, Battler-kun? Who is the culprit? Don't you want to let them know the pain you feel from losing someone precious to you as soon as possible?
When is this bitch ever not underneath a gaslight, man?
I won't deny that. Even one day would be too long to let the wonderful bastard who's behind this go. That doesn't mean I want to suspect one of the 18. Even though I said what I said earlier, I don't want to suspect you, Aunt Ava. To me, you're an awesome aunt who's always fun and playful. I don't want to trade insults with an aunt like that. I wouldn't want to do that with anyone here. Right? Everyone?
I feel the same way as Badler-kun. It's pointless to train insults.
Where did a cat get here?
It's probably just stress built up because so many people have been crammed in one place since morning.
There's 2 cats in here.
Probably.
No, that was just me.
It's only natural. It may not be my place to say it, but I think we should all relax as much as possible.
Man, Nandra uses up a throat full of air.
Ava! I think we better cool our heads too. The receipt's definitely a big clue for figuring out how Father disappeared. We should tell the police about it when they come.
That's right. Right. I just felt a little triumphant when I figured out that part with the receipt. Of course, it isn't fair to only suspect Natsuhide-san, right? We're just as suspicious. But still, Battler-kun, at least the part about the receipt is real, okay? Don't forget it.
Learn to let go, whore.
And try thinking deeply about what it means one more time, okay?
Ellipses.
And
wait, I don't think that this is supposed to.
Oh, I think
I
think that's a bug. Found a bug. Found a bug. Found a bug.
Wait, what happened? What's going on?
I don't think that Natsu is supposed to be saying that.
Oh!
Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi stood up. Look like they plan on leaving the parlor. In the end, his plan is for us to keep playing detectives.
Whoa, what the hell happened?
Nothing.
What? Nothing.
No, for a split second, the sprites were in different positions, and there was some other text on there.
And they moved.
Was it? Oh, I didn't even see it.
I'll have to see that in editing.
And after all, the police will reveal everything anyway.
That's right. Even if we don't play this detective game, the typhoon will pass. When those lively seagulls return to the harbor, everything will settle itself. That's right. If you think about it, this kind of crime is completely trivial. My parents' death is completely trivial.
Damn.
It will definitely be resolved, even if we do nothing. When the seagulls cry.
Ah, he said it! He said it!
Title card.
It's better than John Higurashi.
Natsuhine-san, I take it you don't want to see my face anymore. I feel like the same. If I remember correctly, yesterday you had some rooms prepared for us in the mansion so that we wouldn't need to go back to the guest house, right? Those should each have a bath and a toilet as well as a lock and a chain to secure the door. There's even a bed to lie on, and my husband will be able to watch TV without having to fight with Maria-chan on which channel to watch, right? Do whatever you want. But make sure to be cautious. Thank you, Nathan. And mind your own business, bitch. I'll be counting on you to keep an eye on everyone, okay? Because the culprit is definitely here. And Nathan, make sure you don't forget to keep an eye on yourself, too. Oh, and when you're in the bath later trying to use that gun for pleasure, make sure it doesn't go off near you.
Whoa! Whoa!
Shit!
Whoa!
Oh, that was some nastiness there.
Damn.
If you're gonna do that,
Thank
at least
you.
put the safety on and unload it.
Hold on, that's the same
It was like, if you're going to do it, at least have me around.
Remember,
Hold on a
everybody,
second.
use
Hold on a
proper
second.
trigger discipline.
Hold on a second. Does she use the barrel or the stock?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not describing this situation.
Look, we're not watching
Why are you
Kakaruri right
asking
now.
question?
Alright, so the question is, are we trying to reenact
No,
the
that's
Hellsing
not the
Ultimate?
question. You should be
Look,
asking.
look. I know Umineko is published by Manga Gamer, but it's not that kind of visual novel.
It's not Funbag Fantasy.
It's not Funbag Fantasy. No.
Wait, was that published by Manga?
That was published by Manga Gamer.
All it takes
Yeah.
to get you guys going off in your rocker.
Go. Hold
Oh
on,
my
where's
god,
the-
that was
where's the-
awesome.
Kids love cannons.
Have you finished
Go.
taking your parting shots? Yes, I'm finished. Unlike how you will never be able to be finished even with the size of that gun. See you, Natsune-san!
Oh god.
Genji-san, let us know when it's time for dinner. Until then, we'll lock ourselves in with the chain.
Genji, Cannon.
Oh wait,
That is not
That's
Suhito.
not
Natsuki.
Genji, Cannon. Escort them to the guest room. We'll be fine. I hate shady escorts. In fact, I'd be more comfortable if nobody leaves this room until we reach ours. Let's go, George.
I'll stay here with everyone.
George!
no,
Shelly, I know you like playing Resident Evil, but I don't think I need to hear the door opening sound effects.
Yeah, my fucking mic wasn't muted. I apologize.
It's
fine.
fine.
The culprit is in this room! Do you plan on staying in a place like that?
Leaving this room would be the same as suspecting one of my
sorry.
relatives. I can't believe anyone in our family is capable of something that horrible.
George? Darling, you tell him too!
George is an adult man. Already an adult man. If his code tells him not to leave this room, then it's up to him. Let him do what he wants.
Father,
Dave and Uncle Hideyoshi left. The voice that called after them was the sound of the rain. as you changed it again. Still Natsuhi, but still. Goddamn. Alright. You sure your tagline shouldn't be Natsuhi enjoyer instead of Jacko enjoyer?
I mean, like, Jacko's still true.
I mean, yeah.
Or it
but
could just
still.
be Nads. Yeah,
Zaz always puts
just
that
have to say
emote on
can't
every
say it.
time someone gets horny.
Okay! The parlor was being buried beneath the savage atmosphere. Looked at the clock, I was surprised to find that it was already evening. I really spent that much time worrying about needless things. Talking with each other. Fighting with each other. Yelling constantly. Feeling bored started scratching at my head when Maria and I made eye contact. I was a little surprised. Thought that she would completely immerse in the TV. I believe it now.
Oh?
The letter, the murders, everything. It was all Beatrice. In fact, I almost feel like begging her to come out and take credit for it all. I want it to be the work of a 19th person. Otherwise, the 18 of us will have to keep on suspecting each other. I think believing in a 19th person is better than that. Bringing grandfather outside without opening the doors or windows must be a piece of cake for Beatrice, right? Maria, after taking a single short breath, hung her head, and then raised her face again, entering sicko mode.
That's right. Locking a door is useless against a witch. Beatrice is familiar with all 72 demons.
All 72, you say?
Only
The
72.
third rank, Gop, gives the power to instantly carry the desired person to any location. To her, taking a person out of any closed room isn't hard at all, you see.
Gotta do your keys.
Sorry, taking notes. Buck. Okay.
It isn't hard at all, you see. Witches sure are incredible.
That's me. Witches sure are incredible, huh?
Oh, whoops.
Della,
Sorry.
if she feels committing another crime, do it in a way that no human could. Make me believe that a 19th person, no, a witch, exists.
Okay. If I meet her, I'll tell her.
Crap. Everything made sense to me for a while now. I don't want to believe in a 19th person. I deny it. Plus, I don't want to believe that there are only 18 people. I deny that, too. Even though I want there to be more than just the 18 people here, I can't accept the existence of a 19th person. In short, even though there are more than 18 people, there are less than 19 people. The number of the people in this mansion is 19 is greater than X is greater than 18. The number of people can be represented by an integer. However, it's impossible for there to be anything other after the decimal point. You shouldn't be able to show the number of people with anything but an integer. And yet, 19 is greater than X, which is greater than 18. How do you explain for the fraction less than 1? It's no wonder. That 19th person was something that couldn't be seen. That's why, since you can only write the number of people as an integer, you couldn't see that person. That witch cannot be seen. Because Beatrice has no body. Therefore, she is invisible. Is there a 19th person or not? Does the witch exist or not? 19 is greater than X, which is greater than 18. The witch exists somewhere in that X. Glass.
Is there a song that says snap to the future? Oh, fly
The
into the
two
future.
who were close.
The uncomfortable atmosphere continued even after those two left. It was thick with the idea that simply thinking about the culprit's identity, the same as deciding who to suspect. began to feel like the discussion of the case itself was itself taboo. So no one mentioned the case, at least out loud. However, those thoughts were what filled our minds. All that we couldn't say aloud made our heads feel like they were going to explode. At least on the outside, the parlor once again regained its calm mood. Everything was left unsettled.
It feels like the rain's gotten a little lighter.
Huh? Still pouring down. Oh.
Even if it did stop, there's no boat on this island. But nice if the boat came quickly tomorrow. I've had enough of this western mansion vacation.
Mom, when will the boat come tomorrow?
Normally, the boat to take them back would arrive at 3 o'clock today. They probably sent us a phone call to say they would come after the typhoon passed, but unfortunately the phones aren't working. But they aren't children over there. They were told to both drop off and collect our guests. So they will most likely arrive first thing tomorrow morning. Probably about 9 a.m., I believe.
It was completely black outside. Looked at the clock, I realized it was just past 7 o'clock. I was starting to get hungry. In the kitchen, Kumasawa was cooking enthusiastically. He laid out the variety of dishes. While they didn't match the level of Goda's artful cooking, they were still quite gorgeous. An act of kindness from Kumasawa, to enliven everyone's low spirits with some food. Kumasawa wasn't nearly as talented as a professional cook like Goda, but she was far from unskilled. On the contrary, since she had been brought up in a fishing village, the simple food she created was sometimes highly praised. Cannon arranged the food Kumasawa had finished creating on plates, under her directions. Cannon also helped in the kitchen sometimes. He was rarely replaced in that role. He was slightly awkward, even though he tried his best. Self-conscious about the fact that he couldn't cleverly arrange the food, Cannon's expression darkened slightly. But Kumasawa smiled as though everything was fine.
Jelly, your mic's muted.
Got a minute. I'm getting my good mic ready. Give me a second.
Don't worry.
Okay, does it sound good?
Yes, I'm fine.
Oh, it rains beautifully. Alan-kun, aren't you skilled?
If it had been Shannon-san, if it had been Shannon-san, it would look even more beautiful.
Cannon stopped arranging the food for a bit and hung his head. Shannon was one who always assisted Kumasawa in her cooking. Tonight, Cannon was doing it instead. And as he remembered Shannon's face and her brutal end, he grimaced.
Forget that for
Genji spoke kindly to Cannon as he advanced the pawn. Nanjo had escaped from the parlor once the mood had grown sour, and Genji had become his opponent in the game of chess upon Nanjo's request.
Yes. I will forget it for now.
Indeed. That is probably for the best.
Genji purposely refrained from facing Cannon as he spoke. He did so because he understood that it might make things tougher on Cannon, because that someone was looking at his eyes. Nanjo also understood that he held back any thoughtless words.
I wonder where Kinzo-san has gone. I hope that he is safe, but I do not know. However, I believe everything has proceeded as the Master has hoped and arranged for. To distrust that would exceed my role as furniture in service to the Master. Aren't you... Wait, give me a second, let me get some water. Aren't you scared, Genji? Okay. Genji-san? I am frightened that something bad will occur again tonight. I have nothing to be afraid of. I serve the Oshirimiya family, and that is all.
Nanjo sighed through his nose, made a carefully considered move. Nanjo was very slightly dubious. Genji possibly be thinking that he'd been left out of this? Can't even imagine what was happening inside the mansion. But I definitely couldn't deny the possibility that Kinzo had devised something. But like in the island of chess, Kinzo's opened the game. As a result, 6 pieces have already been defeated. Could it be that Genji was calm because he believed he alone was on the outside of the chessboard, and therefore safe? Nanjo thought about it. Isn't everyone just a piece on the chessboard, lined up equally without any exceptions? Was it even Genji who would gain more of Kinzo's trust more than anyone? No. Who was confident of his position as Kinzo's only close friend? Should not own the pieces laid out on the chessboard.
Genji-san, I am truly frightened about tonight. I hope with all my heart that we will still be safe when tomorrow morning comes.
The guest room Eva and Hideyoshi moved into had originally been built to house guests before the guest house's construction. So until a few years ago, they had stayed in these rooms every family conference and were very familiar with them. It was just like a room at a hotel, with a bedroom and a bathroom. Even though they were still shut in, it was far more comfortable than the parlor.
Guess it's true that you can relax more when you're alone with the family. Maybe it'd be better if everyone else also just shut themselves in the guest room and lock the doors.
Not that Hine-san said that no one could leave the parlor throwing her weight around. I'm sure no one will be able to talk back. She's always been treated so coldly, so now that Nisan's dead, she's getting excited about finally having so much power. Seriously, how shameless can she be?
Come now, don't say that. Natsui-san's doing pretty well. No need to jump on her like that. Also about that receipt earlier, you went too far.
Come on. If I hadn't said it there wouldn't be another time to say it.
Eva, sulking cutely and looking at the television, sat alongside Hideyoshi, who was lying on the bed.
Still, we haven't been alone like this for quite some time.
You're right. Come to think of it, both you and I have gotten pretty old. Since George was born, everything's gone by in a blink of an eye.
It really has. I wonder if we were too hasty in having a child.
Eva's eyes looked like they were staring off into the distance. Yes, she had thought of it as a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Her older brother Kraus has been unable to father a child for quite some time. 6 years passed after his marriage to Natsuhi without any signs of pregnancy, which didn't please Kinzo at all. Eva herself had thought of that, since her name would have been moved outside the Yoshimi register when she got married anyway. It didn't matter whether a successor to the headship was born or not. And then, one day, she had a heavenly revelation. It was the whisperings of the devil that she had listened to and agreed. She would give birth to a successor first. Wouldn't she be able to remain on the Yoshimi register? If things went well, she might have a chance to inherit the Yoshimi family herself. She proposed this to Hideyoshi. He had approved of it instantly. It wasn't because Hideyoshi also had greedy thoughts. For Hideyoshi, who had no close relatives, it was a chance for him to feel once more the long-forgotten thing called family. So when they got married, he hadn't fussed over which last name they were going to keep, and he quickly agreed to have his name entered into the Yoshimi family register. It hadn't been easy to persuade Kinzo, but as his daughter, Ava knew Kinzo's personality well. Ew. So, by choosing the time when Kinzo was most dissatisfied with Natsuhi, she was magnificently able to make him accept Hideyoshi as an adopted son-in-law. Looking at Hideyoshi, who had achieved success after starting from nothing, Kinzo might have seen a little bit of himself. Kuka grew to like Hideyoshi and approved his transfer into the Yoshirimiya Register. He would eventually become the successor to the Yoshirimiya family. They had raised him strictly with that purpose in mind. He had been worth their while and had grown into a fabulous young man who would disappoint no matter where he went. That was why he had not been permitted to fall in love with a servant like Shannon. So when she learned that Shannon was dead and that the engagement was now invalid, though part of her had still been shocked by this gruesome crime, part of her had also been relieved that her dear George wouldn't be stolen by some servant girl.
Fucking Christ, bitch.
Hey! I have hated Kraus Nissan since long ago. He was so full of himself, always swaggering around. So proud that he would one day become the head. Though I wanted to get back at him. Was that just a childish emotion? But in the end, that emotion guided my entire life. If that had been all, then it would have been fine. But because of that emotion, I got you and George involved. I used you.
Ava, don't blame yourself for that.
Hideyoshi got up and held Ava's shoulder. She could feel a warm understanding from him.
Well, I reached the halfway point in my life long ago. But you know, I have absolutely no regrets how I've lived my life. Not one. I think that since I've been with you, Eva, I've been able to relish an enjoyable life that no other man will.
Being a male wife.
After I lost my relatives in the war, you reminded me of what the warmth of family is. So I'm grateful to the Yoshirimiya family and think of it as my only one. In this life I've led with you, not a single thing has been wasted. It's really been a fun life up till today.
Thank you, darling.
Ava hung her head, burying her face in Hideyoshi's chest. Probably no one in the parlor could even imagine that this side of Ava existed.
I'm the one who should be thanking you. Until today, there hasn't been a single day I've regretted being with you.
So many flags! Me too. I'm so glad to have you by my side.
George is already a fine adult. Even if I don't look out for him, he's a man who could do his job well on his own. I wonder, around New Year's, do you think you want to go spend time with sometime in the Maldives? Maldives. Just us, no one else.
No way. Aren't you always saying that you're so busy responding to New Year's cards that you don't even sleep?
None of that this New Year's. I won't read New Year's cards. I'll just stay quiet and check to see if I've won the New Year's lottery. It'd sure be nice if we won a color TV this year.
No way.
We sure as hell can't afford it.
I don't want to waste time checking the lottery while in the Maldives.
I thought didn't you say it was dives? It was a Deeds.
No, she just said it was Deeds.
Oh, my fucking
These
memory
nuts.
is terrible.
He's nuts! Got him!
Come on, guys! This is another moment we've ruined here!
Yes.
Oh. Moving on.
That's the point.
It's
Yeah,
a
we've
meme.
already raised the death flag. Let's keep going.
It's a meme, Batman.
Please let my years
along.
continue. Let's continue. Oh wait, it's me. Shit.
Yes.
And none of that either. How did that sound? Just the two of us, taking it easy, like when we were newlyweds, just before George was born.
Yes. In that case, fine.
I hear the Maldives are wonderful. An island with nothing on it, surrounded by beautiful coral reefs and cottages lined up all over the water.
Like we were newlyweds, you say. Starting when?
As soon as I finished up with some business. I won't know till I ask the travel agency, but probably before New Year's Eve.
No way. Right now. I want to go right now.
Avon acted his lips in a peevish yet flirtatious manner. The sound that filled the room was the distant voice of the announcer on the news, which Hideyoshi had left on, and the obnoxious pounding of the rain against the window. Sex.
And now we'll leave them alone for a while.
There was a knock on the door, and Genji entered.
Madam, dinner has been prepared. Will you eat in here again?
Yes. Have it brought in here. Is Dr. Nanjo still in the kitchen?
Yes. He has said he wishes to carefully deliberate over his next move. Do not worry, he is with the other servants.
Genji-san's good enough at chess to be grandfather's opponent. I hear he's even better than Dr. Nanjo, right?
That's right. Long ago, he played against me, but he must have let me win.
Maria, sounds like it'll be time to eat soon. Look at you! You've been watching TV all day long and you still haven't gotten bored.
Oh. I'm always watching TV, so I'm fine.
Maria-chan sure is a TV kid.
Food's coming. We have to clean up the table.
Earlier we had torn several pages out of Maria's notebook. There's now a mess which everyone had been drawing together. Jessica began cleaning that up quickly. Still, everyone here really can draw. I never guessed.
You can say that we were all drawn together.
Oh.
I'm allowed one, okay? I'm allowed one.
That was terrible.
It's better than an Among Us joke.
You're allowed one. I just feel like I don't like that.
No, they're
TV
not.
show.
That's the most
I'll
untrue
start
statement.
breaking kneecaps.
Fair enough. That's my only one I'll take.
Genji.
You can take as many as you want. I'm just saying that animated show was terrible.
Season 1 was still good.
No.
Genji. Ask Ava-san and Hideyoshi-san whether they'd at least like to have dinner with us. Although they will probably turn us down.
Sir,
First father and now Ava-san. Quite hard to gather everyone to the Yoshirumi dinner table.
Natsuhi felt her headache start throbbing again and lightly held her temples. The distance from the kitchen to the parlor wasn't that great. Genji had gone and come back by himself, but the guest room was a little further away. Natsuhi had warned him about being alone whenever possible. And just now, Nanjo had also admonished him, thinking it'd be better if he held a little more concern for his safety. Kanon accompanied Genji, and the two of them went to visit Ava and Hideyoshi in their guest room. Genji knocked on the door.
Ava-sama, Hideyoshi-sama. Dinner has been prepared.
We waited for a short while for them to come out, but there was no response.
Genji-sama, look at this.
Kanon pointed under the door. A Western-style envelope has been inserted under I.
I think that's supposed to be it,
I
so...
know.
Dillinger.
I'm futzing around. Under it. Normally, when something was inserted this way, it'd be interpreted as a message from someone outside to someone in the room. This might be a private note meant for Ava and Hideyoshi. It's not something that Kanon or Genji were supposed to take interest in. But this Western envelope. One of Kinzo's, the same kind as the one Maria had taken out last night and surprised everyone with.
There can be no mistake. It is one of the master's envelopes.
Could it be?
Even though this is one of Kinzo's envelopes, the letter Maria read out loud the previous night hadn't come from Kinzo. Genji continued knocking a little harder and called out in a loud voice.
Ava-sama! Ava-sama! G. Are you there? Please answer, Ava-sama.
We're having sex, leave us alone!
Oh, well, shit. Okay, sorry.
But there was a loud creaking noise coming from the other side.
That was the bed.
There was no response from the inside. Sometimes when the servants went to call some guests for a meal, guests would be sleeping so deeply that they wouldn't wake up. In times like this, the servant would stick a letter in the door to show that it was time to come out and leave the guest be. Despite that, Genji beat even harder on the door and called out Ava's name. However, there was no answer. Kanon stuck his ear up to the door, held his breath, and listened for any sounds coming from inside.
I hear something that sounds like a television. But I don't sense anyone. The room might be empty.
Genji took out a handkerchief and, going to touch it with his bare hands, gently pulled out the envelope that had been stuck under the door. It was a deep red sealing wax. Without a doubt, the mark on that sealing wax had come from the Ashurmiya family head's ring.
Ava-sama! Ava-sama! Please answer! Are you still in your room?
But there was still no answer. There's a chance that those two were aimlessly walking around the mansion. This is the home Ava had grown up in. There's plenty of reason to think that she had gone out on a casual stroll. Genji groped around in his pocket and pulled out the bundle of keys, which contained the key that would open the guest room.
Genji-sama?
Kanon also understood what this meant. But someone unlocked the door so they could go in and do things like make the beds, long after they had made sure the guests were out. To lock the door for any other reason, especially to do so when there was a chance the guests hadn't given permission and might still be in there, was an action unbecoming of a servant. But Genji had decided. If the only problem had been that the knock hadn't received a reply, he wouldn't have gone that far. But the envelope under the door was doubtlessly one of Kinzo's. Or rather, one of the Western-style envelopes of the Ashurmiya family had. After last night, the sender of this envelope could be someone other than Kinzo. This would have been sent by somebody else.
Ava-sama. My apologies. Allow me to enter your room.
After giving that final notice, Genji stuck one of the keys from the bundle into the keyhole. The sound of the door unlocking. Slowly turning the knob, he slowly started opening the door. Lights seeped through the crack of the door. Were they in the room? They'd forgotten to turn out the lights. Clank. Sound of the door chain being pulled tight. The chain had been secured. The chain couldn't be secured from the outside. Those will prove that they were in the room. God damn it. Some of the voices on the TV seeped out of the room. The lights, the chain, and the TV. All these things made it clear they were in the room. But there was no sign of them. Genji called to Ava once again through the crack in the door. But there was no answer.
Genji-sama, what should we do?
As part of their job, the servants were able to unlock almost any lock in the mansion. They had no way to open a door with a chain. The only way to get by the chain was to cut it. It was certainly not permitted as part of the servants' usual work. The creepy child had rushed up to their backs. Ken held his breath again and tried to sense someone through the door. But even so, he was not able to sense anyone.
I will call Madam and return. Cannon, cut the chain.
Yes.
Ken hurried away to get the cutting tool. Genji called him to stop.
Wait, Cannon. Return to the kitchen and take Kumasawa with you. You must not act alone.
Yes. Certainly.
Well, Ken was wondering why he had to do something so troublesome in the middle of this urgent situation. But Genji said it out of wariness. He didn't care what happened to himself. But in the worst case scenario, he didn't want anything to happen to Cannon. In the kitchen, Kumasawa was piling food onto the servant cart. Nanja was waiting for Genji, apparently waiting to show him a move he finally thought up and might turn the tables on him. Genji's appearance immediately told him that something was wrong.
What has happened, Genji-san? Dr. Nanjo, my apologies, but please allow this match to be suspended for the time being. Cannon, take care of the chain. Kumasawa, stop setting up for dinner and accompany Cannon. I will go to Madam. If you would come with me, Dr. Nanjo. Has something happened?
Genji took Nanjo, who still didn't know what was going on, and quickly left the kitchen.
Kumasawa-san. My apologies, but please come with me.
What has happened, Cannon-san? That's not the voice. I can't do it anymore.
I thought you were
Damn it.
yawning for a second.
Kind of fucking work.
I was not.
Kumasawa said almost exactly the same thing as Nanjo, able to take in the situation and chased after Cannon, who had flown out into the hallway. Taking Kumasawa with him, Cannon went to his storage room and looked at the tools packed in toolboxes all hanging over the walls, trying to find something that could be used to cut the chain. Go.
Mic muted.
Just give him a
Hell?
second. I'm sure you know.
What are you looking for? Let me help too.
We're cutting the door chain. Where was that large wire cutter?
Oh, sorry. Door chain? Why would you need something like that? Excuse me. Why would you need something like that?
The chain to Eva-sama and Hideyoshi-sama's room. Even though they should be inside, they didn't answer when we called them.
It took Kumasawa some time to figure out how cutting the chain and Eva and Hideyoshi not answering were connected. She did realize that this was an urgent situation.
That one will probably do the trick.
Ken took down a very large wire cutter that had been hanging on the wall. It was called a cutter, but maybe it'd be easier to understand if we said it was shaped like a large pair of pliers. Kelly, Ken remember once being warned that this dangerous tool could easily cut through one of your fingers. Ken took that and rushed up to the stairs. He already knew instinctively. He should fight for every minute, every second to open it quickly. Or perhaps it was already.
Please wait, Cannon-san. This is an old woman
Hurry.
Kumasawa eventually caught up with him, grasping for breath while with both hands on her knees. But Cannon changed his grip on the wire cutter and looked up at the door. He let out an ah, struck speechless.
More?
Damn, that's metal.
I said the line.
Kumasawa screamed weakly, her face pallid. That was no surprise, because right there, on the door, with the magic circle that had been drawn on the shutter of the Rose Garden storehouse, there was another eerie shape drawn with a blood-like paint. However, it'd be odd to call this one a magic circle, because unlike what most people would expect, it wasn't a circle with shapes drawn inside of it. It was a more complicated geometrical shape. However, those strange characters filling in the gaps, which weren't from the alphabet, the same kind as the ones in the magic circle on the shutter. But the thing that had Canon struck speechless was in how eerie the magic circle was. Something like this hadn't been seen here a short while ago. First, he had taken a trip back to the kitchen. After that, he'd gone to the storage room to grab a tool and headed right back. Put those together, and it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. How could someone add something that creepy during that period of time? And it's as though it had just been drawn. So the door itself was bleeding, several unsettling vertical red lines slowly dripping down, getting longer and longer. Kumasawa's knees gave way, and she sank down on the spot. If Kumasawa hadn't done this first, then Canon surely would have wanted to.
Beatrice-sama.
It's the worst of Beatrice-sama. Oh, hard. Oh, hard.
Canon gulped, then readied the wire cutters and approached the door. He didn't want to get too close to the disturbing magic circle, and he really didn't want to touch the steadily dripping substance that looked like blood. But if he didn't get too close, he wouldn't be able to cut the chain. Fighting this cold feeling, he gulped again. After gathering his courage, he went even closer, putting the wire cutter up against the chain. He then pressed with all of his strength, managing to cut through the chain far more easily than he had anticipated. The cut chain fell in 2 separate parts, continuing to clang as they swayed back and forth.
There's an envelope by your feet. Isn't that the master's?
Oh, no.
Get it out. That's how I was doing it. Fuck, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, god damn it. Nah. Kumasawa noticed the western envelope at the bottom of the door. The sealing wax had been sealed with the head's ring. Ken hesitated for just a second over whether he should open the letter first or check inside the room. But eventually he decided on fulfilling his original purpose. Kenan pulled a handkerchief out of his pocket. This way he wouldn't leave fingerprints on the door. His worst fears were realized. The police would want to investigate this room, too. He slowly pushed open the door, able to more clearly hear the sound of the television, which had been seeping out faintly this whole time.
Bone, are you back? Should we wait for Bone?
We will wait for Bone. Apologies.
Always wait to bone.
Oh, it doesn't
Yep. The bone.
Yep, I'm back. I was there.
What's
Okay,
the
there we
bone?
go. Bone's back.
Go time.
Alright.
Let's do this.
Ava-sama?
Ava was lying face up on the bed. On the bed with her shoes still on? Kumasawa had fearfully answered after Canon, who was hiding behind his back. Screamed a short "Eek!" again when she saw Ava like that. Eek. Ava's shoes had been the first part of her that Canon had seen. To be honest, wearing shoes in bed was the first thing to strike him. But when Ava's head shifted into his line of sight, Canon couldn't help but let out a short scream like Kumasawa. Right in the middle of Ava's forehead, something had been placed? Something was growing there. No. Right in the corner of their forehead. Was it an old-fashioned knife? That or some weapon like that, like it was sticking out.
Golden Slaughterer.
At the base of where the head where it was struck in. Blood dripped down, staining the sheets on the other side bright red. Kumasawa's knees gave way once more, and she sank down on the floor. Her mouth kept flapping open and closed, but she couldn't even scream. Eva was dead, the only weapon sticking out of her forehead.
I'm still there.
Found on the bed of the guest room while inside the mansion, with a weapon resembling an ice pick having been rammed into her forehead. The windows in the door of the room were locked from the inside, and even the chain was set. No way a human could have killed her.
No way a human used an ice pick.
Ava was dead, with some kind of weapon sticking out of her forehead. Both eyes were wide open. The image of a person who had killed her must have been burned into them. Well, but the only mouth capable of naming that person had been shut for all eternity. Even though her forehead was the last place they wanted to look, they couldn't tear their eyes from it. Right there, the weapon was stuck into Ava's forehead, sitting almost perfectly upright. And on the handle was a complicated design that you wouldn't expect to see on an ordinary weapon. That thing could be summed up with the word occult. It was a vulgar object, the design that might have been of some demon.
Oh, what about Hideyoshi-sama?
What about me?
Hideyoshi-sama?
Ava was on top of the bed, but the other bed was empty. Where was Hideyoshi? Taking a backward glance at Kumasawa, still on her knees and stupefied, he checked the bathroom just in case. And when he opened the door, he was greeted by steam and the sound of the shower. The bathroom was one of the same familiar style as most hotel bathrooms. When taking a shower, a waterproof curtain was used to keep the water from flying out. The waterproof curtain was half open, and lying tumbled down in the bathtub was Hideyoshi, completely naked with both eyes open, and pointing right at Cannon. Just like Ava, a one with a demon-like design was stuck into his forehead. His head had been under the shower as hot water the whole time. His face wasn't half covered and filthy with blood like Ava's had been. The sign of him dead while still taking a shower was still tragic enough. Well, Bone?
His last words were, "Go away, we're having sex."
Wait! Hold up a second! You can't see either of them by looking through the gap of the door while the chain is set. Can't see and can't reach. Go on. Could a human have killed them then?
Found in the bathroom, the same guest room that Ava was found in, with a weapon resembling an ice pick having been rammed into his forehead, just like with Ava.
Where's Detective Conan when you need him?
Yes, Golden Slaughter is kicking in. The Kino is here. Then they heard Natsuhi's voice coming from the hall. She was probably coming with Genji.
Again with this graffiti. What about this letter? What does it say inside?
I do not know. I haven't read it yet.
We shouldn't touch it carelessly. The culprit's fingerprints might be left on it. We should hand it over to the police.
They went out of their way to leave it here. I'm sure they wouldn't have left fingerprints.
As Natsuhi said that, she picked up the envelope. Before checking its contents, she went to the room herself, where she found Ava, dead.
Ava-san!
Madam, Hideyoshi-sama's here too.
This is truly atrocious.
Cannon, turn off the shower. Don't let this be any more pitiful than it needs to be.
Yes, madam.
Ken gripped his handkerchief and twisted the valve, turning off the shower. In the bathtub, a small jar of body soap had fallen with its cap off. Like he'd been attacked while taking a shower. There was still a small splash of blood clinging to the white bathtub, and the combination of red and white made a horrible contrast.
Dr. Monjo, I understand. No signs of post-mortem lividity. Rigor mortis hasn't begun either. It would seem that an hour or so has passed since they were killed. But even so, how a weapon with such a short handle could do that to the skull? I cannot imagine.
Now to check their pulses and their pupils, making certain of their deaths once more. Can't watch this business-like treatment, he thought. Can you tell at a glance they're dead without doing all that? I just thought about removing the weapon. Then decided it'd be better to preserve that scene and hand it over to the police, so he left her alone. But a close inspection of the base showed that it didn't have a blade. In fact, it was more conical than blade-shaped.
Conical.
He noticed that, rather than a knife, it was more like a short-handled spear. Something with a shape better suited for thrusting than slicing. Rather than a short spear, you might call it a thin ice pick. At any rate, after looking at this scene, no further words were needed to describe what sort of terrible purpose such an eerily designed weapon was originally made for. Nor was it necessary to explain how they carried out their function. Natsuhi, hoping to escape the repulsive steam filling the bathroom as soon as she could, covered her mouth with a handkerchief and dashed from the room. Just viewing the gruesome bodies for an instant had been enough to burn the image into her eyes. If she looked any longer, that image would surely remain in her vision for all eternity. The rising urge to vomit was exactly the same feeling she had this morning in the garden storehouse. For a while, Natsuhi couldn't help but stand with her back facing the guest room, fighting the sickness in her stomach.
At any rate, we can't let the children... We can't let George Kun see this room. Not at all. Steal this room with all haste.
Yes, we mustn't let them see. George saw his parents in this brutal state.
They could tell that those fiercely racing footsteps in the hallway belonged to George, even before he came dashing into the room. Originally, the children had been waiting in the parlor. However, when they saw Genji speak to Natsuhi, when they saw her turn pale and fly out of the parlor, they felt a sense of foreboding. When they saw a large group of people gathered around the guest room, they were sure of it.
Father! Mother!
What is this? Another magic circle?
Dave and Uncle Hideyoshi, you're safe, right? Hey, Kana-kun! What's all this about?
Butler-sama.
Kana didn't have anything to say. George screamed after he ran into the room and told him everything they needed to know.
Who did this? I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
George, hang in there.
Natsuhi touched George's shoulder with her hand, but he violently shook her off. George fell over beside Ava and buried his face in the bed in front of his mother's face, wailing. Then he pounded on the bed with his fist, over and over again. Do we want to show them the version from the anime?
I feel like it would be a mood killer.
Wait, what version?
It will be a mood killer.
Yeah, no, we'll do it afterwards.
Yeah, do it
It'll be a mood killer. George Nissan, hang in there. Come on, man. Battler?
Butler-sama?
Battler had his back against the wall of the hallway. He was covering his eyes with his right hand and weeping without restraint. Horrible! That's horrible! Roots of the girl he loved and lost her the next day. And on the same day, even his mother and dad were killed as well. Isn't that too harsh? Of course, it's sad whenever anyone dies, no matter who it is. But to Battler, those left alone by the deaths of others are far more worthy of pity. Everyone here now had lost someone close to them. George wasn't the only one to be pitied. However, George's pain was far greater than anyone else's.
Battler!
I know. Everyone dies sooner or later. If you're human, you'll eventually reach a time when you've got to fight the sorrow of losing someone close to you. Still, shouldn't that day be far in the future for Anarchy? Shouldn't those deaths visit him one at a time? Horrible. It's too horrible! That bastard! That bastard! Doesn't he even have a speck of human sympathy in him? Ah!
Battler, don't cry. Don't cry.
Editor tried to comfort Battler in a mechanical-sounding voice. Battler violently wiped his tears. Yeah. Damn it. I won't cry anymore. Tears of regret. Tears of sadness. I won't shed them again. It's useless. The witch is going back into a corner. I'm always on the defensive. And that's useless. It's all useless. I'll spin the chessboard around. The bastard probably thinks we'll be running and scared like sheep until tomorrow before we try anything. But guess what? I'll spin it around. That bastard can't escape this island until tomorrow either. We won't be hiding away, pissing ourselves. That bastard will. I'll expose you. You'll see! By tomorrow. No, screw tomorrow. Tonight! Before tonight's over, I'll be gripping you by the collar. Oh, next chapter, wow.
Wait, is this the next chapter?
Yep, this is the next chapter.
Oh, there was no window break.
Should we keep going or?
We only got like 8 minutes left, so it's probably a good time to stop here.
And I'm just imagining like Hideyoshi's like last moments for him going, "Oh, Ema-sama, oh Ema-sama, wait, you're not the orange-haired bitch I love," and then he gets stabbed by Beatrice.
Okay, we should show them the what was it the
Yeah.
Got it.
scene.
So you know how he said he was beside his mother in the anime?
Oh.
Yeah, no, he went right in there.
Just motorboating.
Also,
those
that's
titties.
not not the
Is it
gift,
in
but
the general?
here it's in Live General, yeah. So to
Bruh.
clarify,
look that up?
in the anime,
I'm
he
not
didn't
saying
go
gift,
beside
it's
him.
just-
He
This is just
literally
an image, not a gift.
he just started motorboating his dead mother.
He dive bombed in there.
I mean, I get what they were trying to do, where George is holding his dead mother's body and just fucking crying into her chest like a child. But I go, bro, when you make the titties that big, you have to compensate for that. Like, fuck. Well, it's also like the titties have jiggle too. Like someone was horny.
Yeah,
And it wasn't us this time.
I guess someone was.
First off, it is interesting. They sort of confirm my first theory about this. That even the servants don't necessarily believe in Beatrice. Nobody does. They believe in the idea of her, and the fear of her, but they don't believe in her, that she could possibly exist.
Well, what makes you say that? What specific event? Is it the... If I may ask.
If it's any situation, or at least if it could be anything, I'd like to say the kitchen scene, if we take a look at it another way, is just them acknowledging that there could be a similar presence to Beatrice behind Battler. Think about it. If a kid's being creepy and spouting insane nonsense, would you want to go along with it, try to snap the kid out of it, or just acknowledge that maybe a grain of truth is there and acknowledge it?
Slap the bitch.
To be honest, if I was dealing with someone that, like, disturbed, I would probably
This is also the
just play
1980s,
along.
remember that.
Well, personally, I would probably just play along, if only because, I don't want to have to hurt the kid if she, like, has a weapon or something.
Well, I mean, like, Maria's just like a 9-year-old, though.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
9-year-old
but a
girl.
9-year-old with a knife, if you don't stop it, is someone with a knife.
I feel like I would be like, Maria, now is not the time.
Like, Maria have a knife?
Well, just to clarify, those aren't knives. Like,
Just, I'm not saying she has a knife. I'm saying, you know, the kid is this nuts. She might have a weapon hidden or something.
She's 9. There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way. Like, in the
This
airport
kid
scene,
doesn't
fucking
have, like, a
Ava
knife
was
under
an
her dress.
inch
She
of
really
knocking
doesn't.
a little...
man.
Like, shown to be harmless.
Fucking the witch worshipper.
She's
doesn't
like
have a
8 or
knife under her
9,
dress.
right?
But doesn't mean a 9-year-old is going to be
If I may
hacking
say
in
this.
1984.
If I may say this, like, Maria's 8 and 9. Also, I want to point out, many people kind of forgot this. Ava was like inches of fucking kicking Rudolph in the face in the airport situation.
It's true. Exactly. She'd be able to overpower a 9-year-old, so that theory falls through immediately.
I still think the Beatrice is real, and she's.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't think it's anyone
I'd
else.
let Ava kick me, though.
Because there has to be one
son of a
supernatural element that's real, and I think it's that one.
I already put this in my notes here. I was right. It means that Maria and Kinzo are the only ones who truly believe in Beatrice's existence.
So, to get your theory correct, you believe like what happened in the kitchen was them kind of at least acknowledging.
They acknowledge she exists, but they don't believe in her presence or her mystical being.
So, Maria and Kinzo believe in the more believe wholeheartedly, while the servants are like, hey, we know there's a Beatrice, but we don't fucking know what's up with that shit.
To them,
what you're
Beatrice
saying?
is just another malevolent presence in the house. I think
Alright.
the discussion and theology, bringing it in with God, actually proved a point there. People can go ahead and say they believe in God all they want, and they can swear his name up and down all they wish. However, nobody likes to admit out loud that he doesn't exist. The same philosophy applies here with Beatrice on this island. If you say she doesn't exist, then of course you're invoking her wrath. I'm not putting Beatrice on the same level as a god, but the concept is familiar. Or fundamentally similar.
Alright.
And you know, now that I think about it, whoever is doing these killings sure has a hate boner for George, huh?
Damn.
That.
Well, I mean, like...
they immediately got both of Battler's parents, like, right out the gate.
Yeah, they fucking...
And I also wanted to say, Ava did have a point whenever she was actually trying to gaslight everybody. Also, wow, Ava is continuously a gaslighting bitch.
You feel
that? TikTok icons our best VA.
It's not the time. It's not the time.
No. But the idea is there. If this were someone else, and someone not inclined, then they could have just easily gone and killed everybody that night. The way this is going is exactly as it is on the epitaph.
Alright.
Mm-hmm. Of course, it didn't occur to me that the interest could also refer to Kinzo's blood. So now this means all 4 direct descendants of Kinzo are dead.
So...
And so,
Well,
Beatrice
what do you
is
feel about the
essentially
servants, though?
Recouping
Think they're included in that?
That's what she said.
Oh, sorry,
Everything that
Chelly.
Kinzo had, including his kids, are his property that she gave to him. I get that part.
They keep mentioning themselves as furniture. That would mean they're also part of Kinzo's possessions. Meaning, they are also collected in the interest.
Alright.
Something I also found interesting. Whenever they were talking about the difference between drawing reason and drawing lines between it to get to guessing, Battler hit the nail on the head. The epitaph riddle is a priority. But not so he admitted, or at least she stated, that the gold didn't exist. Was she trying to cover for Kraus?
Probably, because she didn't want to reveal the secret.
If you'll remember, Kraus showed her a bar of the 99.99% proof gold in that secret room. That means she knows that the gold is real. So what reason would she have to lie about it?
I think, yeah.
That's a good point.
She's heard that husband.
Exactly.
Out of respect
Worst
his honor
vacation
and
ever, huh?
I am curious to see what you guys think about that. Is she trying to preserve Krause's innocence? Her own innocence? Or is it just some detail that she thought she wouldn't have to bring up?
I mean, what would the point be of preserving Krause's innocence? You know, because he's dead.
She still considers herself to be the head of the family now, considering most of them are already dead.
That's true.
She'd want to preserve Krause's name and hers and solidify that they didn't do anything wrong.
Alright.
Of course, that's just one theory. She could also just be managing to keep the secret of the gold away from them so that they'll try to stop suspecting her.
See?
Okay.
Also found the line, create a wall as you push towards the truth very interesting. I just liked it.
Yeah, okay.
So, with all this new information, Khan, who do you think is the killer amidst their presence?
Well, my theory about Ava right now doesn't seem to be correct anymore. But this does give rise to a new one. Also, I wrote down in my notes, 2 bitches at the trigger, because holy shit.
Yeah, waiting for them to kiss.
I have a theory if you want.
No, that was whenever Natsuki had the gun and she was aiming it at Ava, and Ava looked like she was about to smack a bitch.
And then they
I think
kiss.
that the first set of kills.
Bone, you joke, but I sent you that image.
There was also the matter of the receipt. I'm not surprised that Ava, being a bitch that she is, would actually try something that I've seen before. If anybody remembers the anime Death Note, one of the things Light Yagami did to...
You haven't seen Death Note?
Okay, focus though. In Death Note, both the anime and the manga, Light Yagami puts a piece of pencil lead from a mechanical pencil in between his door hinge. It's a minor little thing that only people would need to pay extra special attention to notice, but it would tell that his door was opened or not. Ava did the same thing.
I just got
You have
back.
like a second thing he did.
I just got back. Why are you guys talking about Death Note?
Because Ava used
ban them. Get the
similar...
fuck out of here.
Because Ava used a similar method to Light Yagami. However, hers is a little more nuanced. Even if the receipt was all the way folded, somebody else would have totally seen that.
Alright.
There also is the matter of Battler's theory compared to Ava's. Ava's theory is total bullshit. Natsuki doesn't even look capable of lifting 50 pounds, let alone a 175-pound man.
I mean...
That's pretty generous of you.
You know, I'm gonna refrain from making the very immature joke that I was going to.
What? I think Ken's weigh more than 250 pounds, so that's hard for even a normal strong person.
Yeah. Neither way. Could Kinzo have slipped out? Of course, I got a different idea for that, and it's a bit of a long shot. Maybe he was spirited away by Beatrice.
That. What I wanted to say before is I figured maybe the first couple kills were actually Beatrice. It's possible that these kills print. Someone's like, hey, I'm gonna go create a murder that looks impossible, but it's gonna be some Detective Conan level of, I use leverage in order to stick the ice pick into her skull or something.
You're saying that this is a copycat killing?
So, like, there's
possible.
So you believe that Beatrice did the first set, and then this set of Hideyoshi and Ava was done by another culprit?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. If that's true, it would be someone who wants to pin it on Natsuhi, because she was pointing a shotgun at.
However, she was down in that other room the entire time.
Yeah, literally
true.
all the cousins would have been her alibi.
Yep. Meaning that theory is officially out. Unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough. Still think it could be a copycat kill, but yeah, I guess Natsuhi's in the clear.
Did anybody else remember that there was a switch to the door under Kinzo's desk?
Oh, actually.
Wait, door switch?
There was a switch to the door under his desk.
Oh,
I think it was just a switch, wasn't it?
what you said.
I could be misremembering that. I'd need to go back and think. Still, it's also interesting that Maria talks about Gauss, the 33rd demon and the teleporter god. Or at least someone who, which reminds me of that one thing. We've all seen the playthrough of I Have No Mouth and I'm Asleep, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
I have seen it.
Oh,
Yeah.
not.
Reminds me of that one demon that they summon in the middle of... Oh, what's his name's? The pompous jackass.
Or the Allied Master Computer?
No, they summon a demon who can be able to unlock anything. That kind of reminds me of that demon.
I think I know which part you're talking about. I just don't remember the name off of my head.
Yeah, it'll come back to all of us.
Unfortunately, I do have to go, if only because work requires me to wake up at 7:45 sometimes, so I'm deciding to keep the same schedule.
Understandable.
And, not kill myself every time I have to go to work at 7:45. Oh, good night, guys.
Yeah, see you later, dude.
All right.
Night, everybody. Night, everybody.
Let's see here. Luckily, I still have a physical copy of notes right next to me.
Oh my god,
This is
that's
basic.
notes.
Yep. Basically.
Yeah, I'm eating
I
right
could've
now,
also-
STP.
Yeah, I could have also been completely wrong about the two that are close. All this time we've seen Ava just as one side. But what if we actually approach each character like how Battler approaches them? Or at least like how he approaches this mystery.
You mean like using
we
chessboard
s-
thinking?
Yeah, spin the chessboard around. If we only see Ava and Hideyoshi as that, at least in here, then of course they might actually have a loving relationship. They wouldn't want anything bad to happen to each other or to George. It makes sense that Ava would want to go ahead and one-up Kraus, but at the same time, it was her conscious decision and she seemingly doesn't regret it. She may regret that in those terms, but come on, who of us here hasn't had one of those moments in our lives where we regretted a choice that could have determined our pathway?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
That being said, Con, I did look it up. One of the names is... Okay, yeah, no, we're got it.
Surgat, thank you! Thank you, Noir, it's Surgat!
So I am curious, what are you trying to imply by this? I'm curious.
I'm implying that maybe each character isn't exactly how we perceive them to be. Mainly. And follow me through on this thought here. We saw earlier that Natsuhi did meet Kinzo inside of that room.
Mm-hmm.
We've also been given multiple perspectives into several different characters. What if we're dealing with the case of an unreliable second narrator?
Interesting. Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, it makes sense though.
No, like I tried and drank an entire thing of ginger ale in like one go.
Why did you even?
I like ginger ale, it tastes good.
Well, ginger your ale. Got it.
No!
Oh boy.
So yeah, anything else to add, Con?
And actually, yeah.
Did we ever get a good look at the things that were in their foreheads?
There's the CG of
There's
Hideyoshi
a
in the
minor
bathtub.
look whenever you look at Hideyoshi's body.
Oh yeah. Now that I look at it, it kind of looks like an arrow, doesn't it?
It could also be representative of the demon's horns, but that's just my own interpretation.
The exact description of it is a spear-like object. Or a pick.
Could have been launched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
Something I actually found interesting with that. They both died with both of those piercing their foreheads.
Well, keep in mind, the door was locked. Like, there was a
Exactly.
chain over it. But is it
the
locked?
windows weren't.
Locked from the inside.
They could have come through. Like they could have been shot through the windows.
But there's
I was looking more at the significance of how they both died. They both died because those things pierced their heads. It would take a lot of force for something like that to go ahead and kill them instantly. They would have been alive for a few more seconds. Not to mention, Ava's body was just posed that way.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I feel. This plays back into the second line of the epitaph. On the second twilight, separate the two that are close.
Alright.
What do you think's gonna happen on the third twilight? Those who remain shall praise my name. What is
No, that's the last twilight.
Yeah, that's the last twilight, I believe.
I said on the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name.
He's right.
Oh yeah,
that's what the third twilight is.
Yeah, that's
What
my
do you think's
mistake.
gonna happen? Are they just?
Oh,
are they
damn.
just gonna? There's no way I can see Battler praising Beatrice's name, unless it's.
No, that's why I think this is a failed ritual.
Wait, do we?
I mean, like, Robu, I feel like if, like, Beatrice came up and been like, hey, Battler, want to touch my titties, he'd be praising that name. That's in Battler's fucking personality. You can't tell me otherwise.
But is that even Beatrice's name that poem is talking about?
Maybe.
It specifically said the two who are close. It could have referred to any couple, any sibling, or any member of family. And the couple that happened to be close at the time was Ava and Hideyoshi. But I still think this wasn't meant to be the right couple to be killed.
So you still stick to the theory that it has to be a certain, like, it has to be a certain sequence of kills?
Well, what?
Yep.
Of people?
Well, I guess my question is, what couple do you think would have been killed given the amount of people who were left?
That I'm not sure of. There's still too many variables.
Because if you want to look at it from a traditional sense, the only couple that's left is were Ava and Hideyoshi.
Do we know how the first people died?
This still relies back on the other theory I stated. That some people in the first 6 died when they weren't supposed to.
Well, what do you mean by that, Bone?
I'm just wondering, do we know how the first couple of people died? Like, the first 6?
All we know is that they were killed at some point or another, and that they were dragged to the Rose Garden shed, and then they had their faces bashed in.
Maybe they were trying to hide also how they were killed. But I doubt
That could be a possibility. But how they were killed is also something very interesting. This is the first crime we've seen where they've actually shown the method of killing. Once you get stabbed in the brain, there's no coming back from that.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Hmm? I feel like someone actually has something to say about that.
Does anybody have anything to say?
Yeah, does anyone have anything to say?
I mean, I could say something, but I shouldn't, because,
I mean, like, we could all say shit, but that would be fucking stupid.
Yeah, it'd be fucking stupid if us for say it.
It's not as if the dead can rise. It's not as if the dead can rise on this island. Now, can they?
I mean,
I
hey,
can't
no, there's
believe
that part of the
Hideyoshi.
epitaph.
No, I like that rising.
I can't believe Hideyoshi farted so hard that it killed both him and his wife.
Hideyoshi had a spear lodged in his ass, and he farted so hard as he died. Because, as you know, when you die, you literally shit out your whole ass. And the second spear launched out with the force of his dying flatulence directly to Ava's head and killed her
You know
instantly.
something, Orange?
Why do you have to do my boy like this?
You know something?
Fucking
You guys
terrible.
don't have very good poker faces. I can tell whenever you guys just want to avoid a subject matter, you turn to comedy or to any other kind of situation like that just to avoid it.
What situation am I
Whenever
avoiding? I'm
I
just trying to be funny, Con.
Whenever I stated that it's not as if people could come back to life on the island, Denton ended up making an odd little noise, and you immediately tried to shift the conversation. Is there something in the future about the dead rising that I should be aware of?
bring up that somebody else needed.
Umineko, they can't answer you on that.
I know, I just like to mess with people.
I was just say the reason why I made the weird little noise was I noticed like SDB unmuted when we asked, "Hey, do you have anything to say?" And I was wondering if like he had like a theory or not. So
I thought it was the LaRouche thing. I can now make the jokes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just love to mess with people.
Oh yeah, I was just
Nah, I enjoy that when you do that.
So yeah.
Hang on a sec, my eyes are itchy. That storm the other night, my sinuses were crazy.
But I don't have too much to add, to be honest.
And I honestly think that this was another ritualistic killing.
Alright. I mean, yeah, the two who are close.
Well, that and those knives in general.
Yeah.
Oh, ice picks, I guess would be the better term.
Yeah, I feel like ice picks would be a better description of them. As they literally use in the visual novel.
Yep. Meaning their souls are intertwined in this ritual, which means the door would probably go ahead and say something along the lines of just being another sacrifice.
Alright.
And of course, the weapons have to be the same because they're the two, you can just separate the two that are close.
Alright.
What is horrible is the fact that Hideyoshi was killed in the shower.
Poor Hideyoshi.
Riddle me this. Whenever you're in the bathroom, do you always look out of the curtain or behind it to see if anybody else is there?
Okay.
What?
No, I
I
just
know, but you should just leave it open.
Did Hideyoshi get
only if
wait,
I'm
did
home
it-
alone and I hear a weird noise.
Did did
No,
Hideyoshi drop the
You look
soap?
like you had something to say.
What?
Do you?
I was say
Something appearing outside outside the shower while I'm in it and trying to kill me is one of my phobias.
Oh, sorry about that, pal.
It's fine. It happened.
It's all cool.
No.
Piss.
Now think about this a bit deeper. If you would see somebody outside of your shower, the first thing you do is panic and try to get the fuck out, right?
I mean, if you've seen that one thing with Squidward where somebody just kind of like barges into his bathroom and he starts screaming, maybe that's what you do first.
Quite possibly. But the bathroom door was also closed. That means, did Hideyoshi even see anybody come in? Or anybody at the curtain holding the knife?
Yeah, we also have to consider the direction that the pick or whatever actually came at him, because that was in the direct forward, like part of his forward head.
Yep.
It wasn't behind him. It wasn't in the back. It was like eyes looking in that direction.
Which means Hideyoshi would have been facing the person holding the pick.
Also, what direction was Hideyoshi facing?
He was flying over the tub and he was staring forward.
Was he staring at the door?
Hold it over like a fucking taco.
I apologize. I have to abuse mod.
Man,
I have to do mod abuse real quick. I need a screenshot.
Man,
I'll let you repost
did Hideyoshi drop the
It's all
soap
good.
because he
Wait.
got penetrated?
So anyway, do we know if Hideyoshi was facing the door whenever he fell?
I don't think it's a matter of facing the door as much as it's a matter of facing the killer.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if like maybe the killer came directly into the door and then hit him or something.
But I mean, let's
Reminds
assume that
me a
the
bit of
entire
Bound and
area was
Wanted.
like, let's assume the entire area was essentially sealed in place, and the only way that they could get in or try to attack somebody is through the crack in the door. But the crack is small enough where that wouldn't be possible.
There's also the matter of the grimoire. It feels like that entry was specifically written by Maria.
Possibly.
Unless there's somebody else that laughs like that we don't know about.
Unfortunately, there's no one I can think of at this point.
There's one, but
There's the possibility it's Beatrice, but who knows?
Who knows?
No, but that does open a disturbing theory. Could Beatrice be possessing Maria to do that? Only for the moments where she does that. Like the creep face.
Well, I mean, like, I guess that would imply that Maria's been getting possessed by Beatrice then. Because, as the session started, even Jessica had stated, like, oh yeah, and Rosa knew about this, like, altered personality.
It is just another theory on the table.
Alright.
Another line was, no way a human could have killed her.
this could be the first instance we see of Beatrice using magic to kill.
Alright.
This is definitely a weird way to use magic to kill somebody, though. It's like
Is it now?
it seems like a very normal human way to kill somebody. There's nothing like special about it. It's like ice pick through the head.
I mean, yeah, like, I feel like a lot of force would be required to push those things like directly into their heads.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, but it's not like I don't know. It just feels weird that that's where she goes when she has the ability of magic.
Well, to get it deep enough to a point where it fucking kills, like that requires some force. Because like hey, we've all seen the video of the dude who like got a fucking blade stuck on his forehead but fucking lived through it.
I mean, like it's an ice pick, right? Those things are heavy, aren't they?
Sure.
Probably get a good.
Sure, but like.
Yeah, but they also wouldn't go in that far.
Alright.
Meaning it would take a lot of force to actually shove it in. Meaning,
Weird tool.
Sort of. It's also inconvenient to use as a weapon in murder.
I mean, to be fair, Con, those things
Don't ask how I know.
ice pits are pretty sharp, so.
And ice pits still require force, though.
It also would take a lot of force to actually jam it in the skull. Especially dead center.
What if it was, it could be jammed in further post-mortem?
No, then that would require making their bodies look like a mess, and the only parts of their bodies that were bloodied were at least just their heads. And the shower was still running. So all I can think of is either Kinzo's still around fucking around with Beatrice and he actually has enough strength for that, or somebody else is on this island fucking with everything. Or Beatrice is just being herself, and this is all just another crazy factor.
There's that topic of trolling. There's that topic of hidden doorways. I wonder if that could lead into anything.
Well, here's a question.
That's actually
just a prank, bro.
That's actually something I wanted to talk with you guys about. If Kinzo can go ahead and build a room that's isolated from everyone else that only requires a switch to open, what's the possibility of having a bunch of trapdoors and hidden passageways throughout this whole fucking mansion?
I don't know, maybe.
Well, it would explain how you could get into a sealed room and out without anybody detecting.
Alright.
It would also explain why a lot of the things that were open and shut, according to the servants, were open and shut to begin with. Somebody was using those passageways to get through most of the mansion. They'd turn on the lights, and then they'd leave them on so that way other people would notice, and they'd turn them back off. Or they would open doors and windows, and then people would notice that they were open. They'd never see the person because they'd easily just be out of the picture. The only problem with that is, that's a big secret to hide. Only Kinzo would probably know about these. So he could still be roaming the house, but in these secret passageways. With God knows what else.
So, do you believe that he would have not informed his servants about these?
For multiple reasons, maybe. One, because they would probably be dangerous. And old house like...
Sorry,
well, for starters, old passages like that, especially after the war, would probably be decaying. Or they'd have mold or mildew or any other kind of growth like that.
Have we seen Goda's dead body?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was thinking he's a big man. Alright, okay, I forgot.
Another reason he'd want to keep them secret? There's some things that even you don't tell your closest confidant. You don't want to open up entirely to everybody. There's always something you have to keep close in your sleeve. There's always that magazine you keep underneath your pillowcase, just so that way your best friend doesn't see your secret porn stash.
For Goda, it's a crossword puzzle.
You don't give your friend your phone so they can go through the gallery.
Yeah, basically. He may have treated the servants as close as family or even closer, but there's no way he would have told them about these passageways. Unless, of course, he was hiding something else from them. I don't know what, but it could be that possibility.
I can't believe Kinzo treated Genji like his lover.
And what?
Nothing. It was a funny joke I saw.
My man hitting that yonky splunky with two older men.
Oh man, that's... Ooh.
Well, that's an image I want out of my head right now.
I thought that was what you were into.
What was a novel I've read like this, though? There was a separate passage and someone was hidden behind. What was it?
Eyes of the Dragon.
No, it wasn't Eyes of the Dragon. I read it during college. Or at least one of my first college. The liberal arts college. It's not Eyes of the fucking Dragon, guys.
I was making it. I was doing a fighting game move thing.
I think it was Jane Eyre.
Fucking hated that book.
Oh, but why?
It was boring as hell. I hated it, and
I feel Jane Eyre wanders
I was
around.
forced to read it
dramatically.
in high school, and I fucking hated it.
Romanticism in novels like that is a goddamn treasure.
Yeah, but it was boring.
A lot of parts in Jane Eyre don't go anywhere.
Oh man, the lightning hit the tree. What does it mean?
Speaks, damn it.
What does the lightning hitting the tree mean? I don't give a fuck.
Poetry, it rhymes all. Well,
I don't know.
Sometimes-
Vampires represent
No, we had-
homosexuality.
We had to write down what lightning hitting the tree meant, and I said Jane Eyre used her magic witch powers to bring down the lightning, the wrath of God, onto that tree after that guy broke up with her.
Fuck you!
And the teacher, I think, gave it a thumbs up.
The teacher's a hack!
Damn. What'd I miss?
I like that interpretation of Jane Eyre better. That's way funnier.
I just want to go through out some trash.
Damn
I think Rochester would have deserved it if it was dark magic.
It was the implication! There was no dark magic, it was just romanticism written in the novel!
Damn.
And also, it makes sense because she's rejecting her Christian cousin, who's already being super creepy.
Another god rejected.
We're talking about Jane Eyre.
Another incest rejected.
But it's hilarious.
I'll have your incest to the wall.
Sinjin needs to realize his boundaries.
Man,
Bottom line, if we go ahead and compare this to a bit of Jane Eyre, or at least anything involving romanticism, then maybe we'll go ahead and find a deeper connection.
Yeah, but Ryuki,
So what
she's
you're
a good,
saying is that
good writer.
incest is poggers?
No, what I'm saying is that incest could be a possibility here as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Disgusting as that is.
Yeah, between Rudolph and the other guy. Shit, what's his name?
Incestigators.
What's the other guy Nora plays named again? Kraus. Yes,
Kraus.
Yes, the incest between Rudolph and Kraus.
Yeah, it's not like Kinzo's keeping somebody in secret passageways.
Default dance.
Hmm.
Alright.
Anyway.
I've been a little bit ADD tonight, I apologize.
I'm also curious to find out what's inside that other letter. I know we won't know until next time, but that thought will go ahead and get me jazzed. Minor other note that I had, and this is just on an unrelated one, and it is still on the Discord line. If this were Danganronpa, we could say that George has seen the most despair.
Bruh.
I think that's
Bruh,
a weird comparison to make. I
His
think.
fiance just died, and you're referencing Danganronpa. His parents and fiance died, and you're like, yeah, bro, major Danganronpa vibes. As his parents' dead corpse lies
The
before him.
Danganronpa fandom is dying. Good.
Hey, man. Hey, man. I can't tell you how my brain works.
You know what? Fair.
She's not wrong.
You ain't right either.
Do you have anything else to add?
Stop posting about Danganronpa. My parents are dead.
Stop
This
posting
may
about
go
Danganronpa.
ahead
I'm
and-
tired of seeing it.
So, Akon.
This means that 8 people... sorry.
Oh,
This
no, go ahead.
means that... Damn it. This means that 8 people have been killed, and there's only 10 left, though. It doesn't match up with the original idea I had, though, of the servants being the parts for the body. It could be something else, though.
Oh. What could it be?
The only ones left alive, if I remember right, are Kumasawa, Kanon, Battler, Jessica, George, Maria, Natsuhi, Nanjo, Genji. Who was the 10th one?
Battler?
I already said Battler.
Oh.
Well, keep it think of it like this. There's 18 people on the island, and about 8 of them are dead. So, oh yeah, so it would be 10 people. I don't remember off the top of my head.
See? If we do it this way, Kyrie, Kraus, Rudolph, Rosa, Ava, Hideyoshi, and Goda are dead. I missed one again, didn't I? Shannon.
Shannon. How could you forget about
Kyrie.
Shannon?
I already said Kyrie.
Oh.
Shannon was the most. Hey,
This
Orange,
means
you're
I
hot
may need
making-
to reanalyze what my original theories are and update them for all of this.
Alright.
Because it could just mean something else, but I don't know. All I have right now is just speculation. Wait, Zaz, what do you mean by pointing out a spoiler?
He's talking about a Crimson thing.
Danganronpa.
Yeah, Danganronpa.
Oh, okay, yeah, no Danganronpa spoilers for me. I haven't even completed the third game yet.
I have not started the third game.
Zaz is like, start Danganronpa 1 already, gun to my head.
Streamers
Which
note
difficulty?
there will not be a Danganronpa stream because I've already played through that entire series twice.
Yeah, it's
What
true.
if I do it though?
What?
Well, there could be other
I
games.
mean,
in
if
future
you
that
if you want to
could be
stream it on your
possibilities.
Twitch,
Yeah, if you want to go on your Twitch and do it, it's fine. But my Twitch,
I'll stream on my Twitch.
we'll play various other video games.
You want to keep your Twitch clean of the Danganronpa.
Subahibi. I've seen Subahibi, and apparently it's Kino, and I don't know anything about it other than there's that weird twink that kind of looks like what is his name?
Thank you, Noir. That means the only people who are
looks like
alive now are
Haru.
Battler, Maria, Jessica, George, Natsuhi, Genji, Kumasawa, Kanon, Dr. Nanjo, and possibly Kinzo.
So, Battler, Maria, Jessica. Sorry, I had to.
I'm glad that you were able to get that off of fucking me just calling him a twink. I'll keep Wonderful every day on my wish list for whenever
We've
it
been
goes on sale.
interrupting Con a lot during
I'm sorry.
this.
My bad.
I'm sorry. These go on for a little bit.
Well, it's the best part of the video, though.
I mean,
What if?
Yes, it is, Orange. Fuck you. We're literally we're asking people about what they
What
think.
if? This is dumb, but what if? Maria is the arm, Kinzo is the head, Dr. Nanjo... One second, I need my other notes for this.
Wait, Con, did you take note of where the one-winged?
You're more important.
Con, did you take note of where the one-winged angel is on their fucking person?
You mean the one-winged
Head,
eagle?
Stomach, knee, leg.
not the one. Yeah, that.
Sephiroth is not on the island.
Stop posting about Sephiroth. I'm tired of seeing
Yes, of course, it's talking about them in general.
What's up, STB?
Kinzo
Yeah,
would be the head, so he'd be sacrificed there.
Oh, wait.
Maria's the messenger, so she's an arm. George is in despair, so he'd take the knee.
Alright.
It's stomach and chest that's not getting to me.
Alright.
Oh, they're Voltron.
Wow!
Orange, I know this drags on a bit, but could we?
What do you guys think of that?
Well, I can't say shit.
Yeah, the people that haven't read Umineko, what do you think of that?
Maybe, I don't know.
Fucking Robo, what do you think?
What?
Stop looking at things. Pay attention to what people are saying, Robu.
I think we're kind
I
of
was reading
aligned.
what's going on in chat. What do I think about
About the various members being different body parts, representing different body parts.
I think that's extremely plausible.
I think it's
So-
possible, but I
on
don't
the
think
next
so.
one,
No.
next time you see the characters, take note of where the one-winged angel is on their person.
I know I originally said that may have been an indicator, but I think it may actually just refer to them and how they refer to Beatrice.
Wait,
Think about it. Kenzo is the head of the family and also the one who started this whole mess, so he'd be considered the head. Maria is Beatrice's messenger at this point, so she'd be considered the arm. George could possibly represent the knee because he's already buckling under all of this pressure. Or Jessica could.
Alright.
Okay.
Is that pretty much it?
It's the chest and stomach that are driving me crazy, though.
We might just not have the information.
Yeah.
No, at this point it's all still speculation.
Alright.
Anybody else have any other notes?
Apparently not.
You guys need to start taking notes. It's getting awkward just that I'm the only one taking notes.
Actually, I've been wanting to say something.
Okay, go ahead, SDB.
I refer to occasionally, but I mostly just remember stuff.
Go, SDB.
SDB, shoot!
If you say chest, you can also think heart, so that's possibly battler.
Okay.
That is actually a really good theory.
Yeah, I just don't have the attention span to take notes. Like, I'm trying to focus as much on the story as I can.
Also, apologies for cutting you off a bit. I'm just, I don't know. I guess I'm a little impatient.
No, it's understandable.
Also, Orange, can I get a quick line read? Well, not quick, but a line read.
Sure, I can
No,
get
not
a
right now.
line read.
Wait until we finish it.
I'm not doing that entire thing.
Okay, Con, do you have anything else to say? Is that pretty much it?
Nope, I think that's all I wanted to say this go around.
Alright, then I can cut here. That's the end of the episode then.